Just vibe for a minute. Oh, the UI. Oh, frick. Of course the UI still shows up in the photo mode. Whatever. Hello. Anyways, I just thought it'd be nice to vibe for a second. Anywho, there's a chest here, and hello. I think I'm streaming. Yes, it says I'm connected. Good. I think I would have checked that before I started talking. Is this crystal fly? No, this is part of like the little thing here. I've done this before, just I think maybe not on this account. Anywho's, hi. I have a poll going right now for anyone that wants to decide. Probably not tomorrow. It'll probably be a Tuesday stream, but I believe the banner updates. So I'm not going to do live polls because I'll do an edited video for polling for Emily. But yeah. So it for at my time it updates. The banner updates at like 6 p.m., which is, you know, like 6 hours after I normally stream. So is the YouTube chat just broken, by the way? I also don't have it on screen. Oh, it just updated. All right. I'll talk about C6 Keqing in a second, but yeah. So this stream is going to be mostly, well, if you've watched my streams before, hopefully mostly Keqing shenanigans. I'll talk about her constellations in just a second here. But yeah, as far, I was going to like try to make an edited video with actually this team. And there's some shenanigans going on here. Don't worry. It's not just overload Keqing. Don't you worry. But I just decided like with Emily coming out and the fact that I'm probably gonna level 90 her, I just don't want to dump a bunch of resources into Keqing right now. I don't think the video would perform that well. That might be a little pessimistic, I'm sorry. But like, I don't know. Keqing C6 is not interesting. So I don't know. But anyways, I want to I wanna make, I'll probably make a video about Keqing eventually, but it's not the priority right now. I would like to, I'm gonna spend a little bit of resources, to be clear, leveling her for this video. Like I'm not gonna keep her at level 60. I want to at least get her next ascension done, get her leveled up a little bit, level her talents a little bit more. But we're gonna be more testing with just like different mechanical shenanigans this video rather than Keqing is a bracket. Like that's not the goal here, right? The goal is to see how different things work, not judge Keqing as a whole, fully sended and leveled up, blah 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 blah. So anyways, why does no one answer my question? What do you mean? You didn't ask a question. All I saw you in the chat is you said hey, and then you said why did no one answer my question? What? Yahoo's. Also I think, oh there we go, it just fixed. Thanks YouTube. I'm glad you're just very broken forever for chat right now. For me, it's great. I love this cycle where YouTube chat just works fine for months at a time and then it just doesn't work for months at a time. I can literally just see it actively updating in my OBS preview, but not in my friggin' actual chat window. Anyways, thank you, Oscar. Hello. We're gonna level this weapon, not very much. I just want to see how, I want to see, I don't know what this looks like unascended. This weapon looks so good unascended on Keqing though, that I kind of don't want to ascend it. But funnily enough, with the Keqing build that I have going here, it's kind of the optimal weapon to use for some shenanigans, but we're not gonna level it all the way today. But I do want to see, I think I have the resources because it's just, you don't, yeah. I didn't actually check, but, it just takes the, oh, I need these, of course. It just takes, garbage resources to get it to its second ascension, and I want to see how good it looks with it ascended. Or if it ruins itself because it just, like, starts glowing like the sun or something. Because, like, dang, it's a pretty maximized drip weapon for her, it feels like. Anyways, let's talk about before we get, I don't have to condense my resume. Yeah, no, we're fine. Okay. Before we get too into it, I want to talk about Keqing's constellations. If you look up KQM, and like KQM is Keqing mains, like they have a really big guide on Keqing. Surprise! The community named Keqing mains has a big old guide in Keqing. This character is really interesting in that she does kind of, as far as like what Electro on-fielders could do, she does kind of most of the things you could want Electro on-fielders to do. And I like her for that, because it means, you know, you can use her in a lot of potential different ways, and it'll be varying degrees of usable. Obviously, her strength is with Dendro things. And of course, we can mess around some Dendro shenanigans this video, but like, this character is a very functional C0 character. Her constellations are pretty, to say the least. So, ow, I just whacked my microphone. I don't know if you heard that, but like, for doing shenanigans like we're going to do this video, her constellations might help out slightly more, because we're leading towards, you know, not the things Keqing is strongest with, therefore making her slightly stronger at a baseline, even if it's not very much stronger, is going to be better for doing shenanigans, right? So this is a good character, because anything you think about Electro doing, she can kind of do it to some extent or another. She doesn't have a high personal multiplier output though, so that means something like Overload is probably quite a bit worse than like doing Raiden in this team. I suspect it should be, but you know, and you probably wouldn't do Fischl, by the way. We'll mess around with a little bit of different shenanigans here, I think, with Keqing in Chevreuse. But there's more shenanigans we'll do. I want to do other infusion things with her, and then we'll also see how maybe some burning things work with her, because, you know, there's a new character coming out soon that, you know, you could do burning overload, and that could be interesting. I don't know. So yeah, and like definitely a part of what can make Keqing strong is Fischl's existence. Yup, that's kind of part of what can make mini Electro team cores strong. Like Keqing's existence kind of is interesting in that, assuming you have her, she kind of invalidates a lot of the need to level up and pull for any other Electro on-fielder, right? Once you have her and leveled her up. But in my case, since I've already invested a bunch of resources into other units that can be on-fielded as Electro units, like, quite frankly, I think I'm more interested in playing Sethos most of the time than I think I am interested in playing Keqing. And yeah, like Sino's main problem is that Keqing exists. Chlorian's main problem is slightly less the case than Sino, but it's still kind of that Keqing exists. Like, is there even any other Electro on-fielders in the game, actually? Razor's weird. But to an extent, I think Razor's problem is that Keqing exists. But Razor has some unique nuances to his kit. He actually can do some interesting things. Like Raiden doesn't have this problem because she's weird. But most notably, she has some off-field utility, right? That's the thing that C0 Raiden does best, is her unique strength for her off-field utility. No, Physical Fischl does not count. Physical Fischl is not an on-field Electro unit. Physical Fischl is a physical damage dealer. So yeah, like, it's weird because like all on-field Electro units can kind of be strong in the same ways, unless they decide to make an Electro on-fielder that is kind of restrictive in exchange. Like, it's like, let's imagine the alternate reality where Chlorian was designed with much higher multipliers, but then only worked in overload teams, right? So she had Chevreuse passive, but buffed herself a lot more, had a lot higher multipliers, but only got that damage in overload. Like, she could still be as good as she is in aggravate, potentially, maybe slightly worse in aggravate, but would be much better for overload by having a really restricted passive. Like, would people be fine with that trade? Like, trade this crit rate passive for when the party consists of Pyro and Electro characters, this character's multiplier value triples, or something like that, right? Triples is probably a bit excessive, but you get the point. The baseline. Oh yeah, C6 Doria, unironically, again, another example, yeah, of an on-field Electro character that, like, what's weird is, like, you don't really need any more than one on-field Electro. And arguably, you don't need any on-field Electro, really. Like Yai was the only on-field Electro I had for a long time. Other than Raiden, I should say. But Raiden doesn't do, at least without a weird build, At least without a weird build, Raiden doesn't do the other things that like Keqing can do well, right? But anywho's, Raiden has her own strength. She's the most unique as far as Electro on-fielders will go, which is good, at least, since she's the Archon. I don't like her C0 kit, to be clear. Without doing a weird build like I'm doing. I think she takes too much investment to get to a point where she feels like she does the things that I think is fun with Electro. But yeah, this build for Raiden is basically like making her into Keqing, but better. That's probably almost the simplest way I could even describe hybrid Raiden in a way. So, anywho's, I don't know. It's just weird when you start thinking about Electro and how, you know, Official's existence makes it so like most on-field Electros can just be relegated to being official drivers, and they can be pretty okay because of that. And then it's just like down to, okay, how many aggravates can they trigger? They can trigger a bunch of aggravates. Well, they can be pretty decent. How's their AoE? How good are they at proccing bloom cores if they're the on-fielder? Like, how good can you do quick bloom things? How flexible are they for their rotations and, you know, quick swapping? Like, that's a problem of, like, Sino versus Keqing, right? It's like, Sino is not very flexible. Keqing is. So, anyways, gun is greater than sword. I mean, yeah, like, to be clear, if you got Clorand and you got Keqing, and you didn't level Keqing and instead level Clorand because you have more fun with her because she feels better to you and like the animations more, that's fine. You'll probably enjoy Clorand more. For some, like they can be used in very similar teams, and Clorand in many situations should feel quite a bit better than Keqing, but not in a crazy way. So, anywho's, I have Sino, I use him in Sethos. I mean, I'm not saying you can't use... I have a bunch of different Electro units on that I have leveled. I use different ones on field or not. I'm not saying you can't level multiple Electro characters. Duh. Of course you can use multiple. My point is, like, you don't really have that much need for more than, like, one Electro on-fielder. For what Electro does in this game. Ignoring the Raiden factor, but again, Raiden is valuable because more of her off-field. So it's weird. I don't know. As far as standard banner constellations go, she has... Is it the worst? I don't know. As far as the C6 goes, well, I don't know. As far as C6s, specifically C6s go, on standard banner characters, I think she might have the most boring one. Chi-Chi's is similarly pretty boring, but at least it's like one of the rare constellations where Chi-Chi. There she is. C6 Chi-Chi like is the stupid, you know, 15-minute cooldown effect, but you get a revival for your fallen party members. That's interesting and unique enough. It's a rare enough thing that, like, I think it's interesting. And then her C4 does, you know, a debuff on enemies. Debuffing enemies is pretty rare. Like, usually debuffs for enemies is like reducing their resistance, which is just an alternative way of buffing your own character's damage. It's not really a debuff to them. This is a debuff to enemies. It reduces their attack. Yeah, so I don't know. To be clear, Chi-Chi is a pretty undercooked character, I would say. But like, even this, I could make arguments for it being more interesting versus Keqing just, you know, yeah, his damage bonus. And it's how much damage bonus? Whopping. If you do a normal attack, charge attack, skill, and burst, you get a whopping 24%. But not all for all of it, right? And like, how much you have on any of those individually would depend. Like, normally you would do, like, I don't know, well, I think it really depends. But so you do, you know, you start with a burst, and then you do her skill, and then you do some normal charge attacks. That means you're only getting the full damage bonus, like, with her normal charge. It's like, this is her skill upgrade. The burst upgrade is actually, I think, pretty decent, and then C4 I think is pretty decent. And depends on the team context. Again, like, this will do more if we're doing overload Keqing. C1, this shares application cooldown, like ICD, with her skill, which means it doesn't really give you any additional Electro application, which means it's basically useless, is my understanding. So cool, Mahoyo, thanks. If this was additional Electro application, it would actually be a good constellation. It's not additional Electro application, so it's this exists. It's basically Electro resonance, but not Electro resonance. And her energy unions are not very high, to be clear. She has a 40 energy cost. So like, yeah. Yeah, there's like not much interesting about it, right? Like anything we're gonna do this video is things you can just do with her C0. They just might be slightly worse. So anyways, let's see if this weapon looks. Oh. Okay, okay. We have to go. Yeah. Okay. All right. Give me a second. We're gonna go condense my resin quick before I forget. And the C1 give extra electro? Nope. I double checked and it shares electro application cooldown. It shares a cooldown for when electro gets applied with her skill. So, you know, and specifically, right, it triggers with her skill. Recasting stellar exploration while a lightning stiletto is present will trigger her C1, right? This additional at the start point and terminus of her blink. So the stiletto is this thing, so C1 triggers when you do this. But yeah, anywho's, the sword looks good on her. Yeah, that's why I wanted to check if it's gonna get ruined or not, because it might, you know, Mahoyo gonna Mahoyo, and they gotta give an alternate look to weapons when you ascend them. So is it gonna look ugly if I ascend it? I'm not gonna be able to ascend it all the way, but we're gonna go check. Let me claim my dailies quick though. It's Ayato sword. I do not remember what mistake I made to get this sword. I've made a number of, you know, aha, let's pull in the weapon banner for the funnies for content. And I'm pretty sure this weapon was definitely acquired in one of said decisions. I don't remember which one. I have no idea. I'd have to go. Oh, it was the Scarlet Sands banner. Ah, yes. You remember. Thank you. That's why. Okay, so that one, that's why I have this. So that instance was not I mean, it was a for content decision because I decided I wanted Staff of Scarlet. After doing Staff of Scarlet Sands, things with Unpull Arms only, I decided I wanted Staff of Scarlet Sands for Hybrid Raiden on my main account. And god, that was one of the more painful weapon banners. Oh god, I think it took me like three full pities worth. One of the worst. It was not fun. And I didn't even make a video about that. I made a video about like Hybrid Raiden. Like I didn't even make a wishing video about that. How stupid. That was stupid of me. I could have made money on that at least, but I didn't. So I was like, no, I just need it for the video. I don't want to. And I remember at the time I didn't want to like make a video that was like potentially saying people should do this because it wasn't something I knew if it was going to be worth it or not at that time. Oh, I haven't done this event at all. I should probably do that this stream maybe, but we'll wait to the end. Can you use Cloran's weapon on Keqing? Yeah, but the Bond of Life part of it is not going to trigger. So, you know, it should be pretty fine though. Oh yeah, we need to go. Yeah. This thing, yeah, I think that's fine. Could have made that content indeed. Oh well. So anyways, it was Staff of Scarlet Sands, one of the more expensive weapons I got. This weapon, because you know I've gotten lucky with like Jed Cutter and made this mistake in the past. This weapon has had not a lot of relevance, but it is a weapon I could use in Keqing. Particularly if I ever level 90 her, but I don't know. I don't suspect I'm going to get so much enjoyment out of Keqing because I already get enjoyment out of a lot other Electro units enough that I think I'd rather play them. I doubt I'm going to enjoy this character so much that I'm like, yep, this is one of the characters I'm gonna almost always use now. That's my guess. But I don't know, it doesn't mean she's a bad character, it's just like you don't have a need to use this character. So anyways, oh, well. Keqing is not on an Electro. So, by the way, the idea for that I had that I wanted to start with, the first shenanigans to start with, is this team here. And Keqing's without her weapon level, she's going to do like no damage. But I did 2-piece attack, because attack good when you're not doing aggravate, right? And this actually I was using, let's use this. There we go. Here, we'll put her back on this. There we go. So we can actually properly see some damage from her. So yeah, that's a pretty decent two-piece build. Yep. Oh. Oh, she's on a pyro goblet because C6 Bennett. So this is a circumstance of like the shenanigans we're doing here is, you know, most people would be like, this is the situation like, Bennett interferes with your ability to like get Electro infusion on Keqing. But how about we just embrace the pyro infusion? And the idea, right, is let's make the most out of the fact that Keqing gives herself not really a goblet, worth less than half of a goblet. Wait, no, over half, slightly more than half of a goblet of electro damage bonus by blam, you know. Well, yeah, so we get half of a goblet of electro damage bonus from her C6. That means, you know, we can just do pyro goblet instead. And we'll still so I don't know, it might it's probably fine. It might actually be better to do an attack goblet, honestly, so that, you know, you're benefiting your attack and your, well, I don't know, with Bennett it's a little bit iffy. I'm not sure. But I don't suspect this will be that great. I also feel like one of the things I don't like about Chivalrous teams with an Electro on-fielder, which even though, you know, Keqing is doing pyro damage, right? She's still an Electro on-fielder. So that's why, like, I put Fischl here. Is like, okay, hopefully we're triggering enough Electro reactions that Fischl can get a decent amount of procs. But I kind of think Shungling might be better still, and that's a problem with any Electro on-fielder. Like playing Raiden in a Chivalrous team, it felt like to me as like, okay, you do Bennett, Chivalrous, Shungling, and I don't like that personally that much. It's kind of I don't like having to rely on Shungling for having off-field pyro. You can switch to a more defensive unit, but then you're just like making the team a lot worse, right? And you're already doing Bennett's and Chivalrous's healing, so like it's fine. You don't need the like Toma defensive utility. So it's just like what all roads lead to Shungling, right? And like this is why I want the Pyro Archon to be, you know, an attack buffer, so that an attack buffer, off-field pyro damage dealer, right? And then it's over here, and then wow, you don't have to use Shungling. But anyways, you could do Beto for a little shield, but yeah, but again, like you're making the damage a lot worse. Like I don't need the shield. That's not the point. I'm not saying there's not other options, but like it really felt like to me with Electro on fielders with Chivalrous, you almost always wanted Shungling, like more than Bennett even, is what back when I was testing a lot of things with them, with Chivalrous teams. I don't think I need to farm every one of these guys, by the way, but since I'm down here, honestly, I may as well. that's my feeling right now. Like, yeah, Dehya would be fine. You could put Dehya on Tenacity, but again, it's gotta be worse than Shungling. Like, we don't have any other good off-field pyro damage dealers in the game. So anyways, hopefully the Pyro Archon does some attack buffing and some off-field damage, and that way they can replace... In this team, it would be replacing Fischl or replacing Bennett, right? Would be the idea. But anywho's, we'll mess with this actually in Abyss in a second here. I will level up Keqing a little bit more, but notably in this team, by the way, like Keqing as a character, you do normally, of course, want to level to 90. But she is not a character that needs that. But that's because of the context of her being really good for aggravate, right? Being good for Dendro reaction things. As soon as you bring Dendro into the mix, Keqing is a character that wants to be level 90. When you're doing a team like this where her damage is basically entirely her own like personal multiplier scalings, like yes, she can get some additional overload damage, of course, especially since I'm doing shenanigans. Like level 90 would be better than level 70, which is where I'm gonna leave her at for this stream, because I need to conserve my resources a little bit. But like, it's not gonna be anywhere near to the same difference that you see from a normal, like an aggravate Keqing, right? Going from like 70 to 90 or 80 to 90. Keep that in mind. You plan to react to the 5.0 stream? I probably should, considering it's gonna be a long one though. It's gonna be like 6 a.m. Oh, this falls down, doesn't it? Well, that's fine, I guess. The 5.0, when is the 5.0 stream? It's not this week, right? It's like next week. So I think it's like a week from this Friday. But yeah, I'm down to do a 5.0 stream, I think. I'll probably do whatever. I think it's August 16th, if I recall. But yeah, I'll probably do that unless I forget about it. I'm not gonna 100% guarantee it right now. Hello, sir. You're dead. That's all. That's all it leads me to. I know there's like a couple more in like the over here, right? Right? Are you excited for Nathlan? Yeah. I mean, the more content, good. I'm relatively whelmed on the character kits right now. They seem fine. Like it's a return to form. Like I know everyone's like very enthused about like their visuals, like animations, whatever. Like they look like your typical experience to me though of like. Can you not? I'm not hitting. Good job, me. Probably could have done this too. Their return to form is like compared to Arlecchino's design. Of Mihoyo making on-field units that work meaningfully better in one team format over all else and have relatively limited flexibility and different ways of being played. Well, some more. And that makes them just like they can be fun until I get bored of them, but I will probably get bored of them. Is my impression. Kachina seems interesting, but she seems to be just a precursor to Xilanin. So, you know, I'll probably make a DPS Kachina video. I am on my main account here. I am most interested because Kachina's a full defense scaler for her damage. So yeah, like I don't know. I think it's fun. I think it'll be fun messing around with Kachina and seeing how far we can take her. I don't know why I'm gonna work to Mondstadt, but I'm here, so we're already looking there. We're gonna go here. Will there be a Dehya and Emilie comp when she arrives? Oh yeah. Well, one interesting thing. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how the most, for me personally, this team right, yeah, that team. This team right here works really well. With obviously Nahida. I think Emilie should be an upgrade for this team as far as at least as far as single target damage performance is concerned. And a problem this team happens sometimes though, as far as like when Dehya is on a carry build, which is how I played her mostly in this team thus far. It's mostly a dynamic of, you know, doing Farina, making sure Dendro's on enemies, doing your skill, doing your burst, which is a short field time burst, right? And then doing Dehya burst, right? But if Nahida's Dendro is on enemies, like it's too much Dendro, and you don't get very many vapes in many situations on Dehya, except for if you're like doing a burst at the new wave spawn. So like oftentimes what I'd do in like chamber 1 is I'd, you know, wouldn't redo Nahida when the Ruin Guard spawns and just use Dia Burst to get the Ruin Guard down, and can trigger some Vapes then. I think Emilie's less Dendro application, but higher talent damage contribution could be a significant upgrade and actually might enable Dia to get some Vapes too. With the asterisk of it, might mean less Vapes on these two. I don't know exactly how the dynamic will work out. I will be testing it. I think this will be actually a compelling team. So, the first two characters on the best, they're both fine, to be clear. Like, their kits are fine. They're just on-fielders. They're very standard on-fielders. There's nothing wrong with their kits, in my opinion. They're just very standard on-fielders. I like that they have a movement gimmick, but yeah. Anywho's, let's do Keqing things. Like, okay, we're done. Level? No, not that. I wanna. Okay, let's see if the drip impact is ruined by ascension visuals. I mean, why don't they have a toggle, right? Why don't they have a toggle for like unascended versus ascended? All right, good, have enough. All right, so here's what it looks like before ascension. Like it looks perfect. Like I would want this not to change, but I think it'll be fine. It gets like a bunch of like gold accenting. I think that doesn't look great. That's probably I think it's gonna look worse, but I don't think it's gonna look ugly. It's worse. It's definitely worse. It's too bright now. Like it was much more subdued before. The gold accent actually looks really good because it matches the accents on her, but it's too bright now. Like it's more bright than it was before. It's not something that will affect you in like normal combat. I still think this is probably her best looking weapon. Like this probably looks better than Mistsplitter because Mistsplitter just looks goofy. No offense to Mistsplitter enjoyers on Keqing or anything, but I still think this is probably her best looking weapon as far as drip impact goes. Anyways, whatever. It's unimportant. I am not leveling it, but it definitely looks meaningfully worse than it did before. Thanks, Mihoyo. I'm glad you don't give me a toggle for it. It's drip for Farina. But this is maximum drip on Farina. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, yeah, they're blue sticks. I'm sorry. They're just, unironically, I think I like the contrast of, man. Like dark blue plus orange and like the brown, like the contrast is good. I like contrast. Anywho's, but oh yeah, yep, you're true though. Fab is still unironically probably the best looking one. Yeah, in 3 years they'll give a toggle button. True. All right. So, anywho's, for this video we'll be doing this, and we'll leave her. I stole my Yai's flower for this build, but we'll leave her on this build. I think. Well, not necessarily. We'll change her build around likely, if we try different things here. So, yeah, Fab Sword is the best drip weapon. Flute being peak fashion impact on Lynette is so sad. I mean, do it if it makes your dreams come true. Anywho's, what? Yeah, I guess. Oh yeah. I need to ascend. Oh, do I not? I thought I had. Oh, of course, classic. Okay. Great, fantastic. So yeah, like I'm gonna level her up to 70. I have enough materials to do the level 70 ascension too, actually. But I need rocks. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. Temporary co-op invites. Oh my god. I forgot about the rocks. I just remembered. I even pinged my Discord server yesterday, or I was intending to do that on Friday, and I just got tired. I was kind of under the weather. I had a headache on Friday, and I didn't feel like doing much other than the one video I made. I think that was a great video, by the way. The no crate Arlecchino video. Frick. So, anywho's, I guess we can do co-op and try to get some core lapis. I'm gonna level her to 70, and then do her level 70 ascension. So anyone wants to join to help with that real quick, and then we can start to properly test some things. And I will probably take her talents to, I think, level 6. Oh, man, I don't know. These are supposed to be Shenhe materials. Like, why do you... God, Keqing shows up at the worst time possible, where these are all gonna go away as with Emilie's release, and then do I have any Dendro thingies? How much dust evasal I'm gonna have to use for? Oh boy, I'm gonna have to use a little bit of dust evasal on 4. Oh good lord, Yep. Anywho's, did you get C6 on standard? Yes, I got C6 Keqing from like a 60. I was at 60 pity on standard banner from like one of the battle pass wishes. Did a single pull and then wow, early Keqing, and I was like, wow, I kind of would have preferred that be an idea, but you know, it's fine. It's fine. Why give me useful things instead just give me C6s? That way I C6 Keqing. So you make me feel weirdly obligated to make some kind of content on it and waste resources on it. Anywho's, so yeah, let's, I want to do budget Emilie with Kaveh. Oh boy, I don't even know what you'd do with that. You could do something, maybe. Yep. All right. So, hello. Oh yeah. I said we could do. So yeah, I should have specified that was like an invite for particularly anyone with Zhongli. But I'm only gonna let at most 2 people in because I need to be able to have a cloud retainer slot if we're gonna go collect rocks here. But I'm also letting some other people in because I don't want to have to constantly alt tab outside of the game to be able to look at the interactive map, right? So there you go. That's 2 people. Where's my cloud retainer? I'm blind. Oh yeah, she's level 80. I will probably level 90 Cloud Retainer eventually, just for the specific purpose of the fact that I oftentimes have to like switch to her for Overworld, and it's annoying that I have to scroll down. I have too many level 90 characters. It's a stupid, I've been playing the game for too long problem to have, right? I've been playing the game for 2.5 years. But, vape on-field Emilie anyways? Anyone? Of course. Of course. I actually am not... Like, because of the fact that Emilie, right, when you're doing pyro things, I think there might be some potential for, like, Candace-infused Emilie to have high, like, so C6 Candace, for anyone that doesn't know, last time I checked this was the case, so I'm pretty sure this is the case, unless I'm getting it mixed up with something else in my brain. C6 Candace's infusion overrides Bennett infusion. So, what does the team even look like? I haven't actually I haven't thought about. I'm only letting in 2 people so I can have Cloud Retainer. Actually, I guess, you know what, screw it. I only need Cloud Retainer, I guess, whatever. And that way I don't even have to worry about accepting any other stupid things popping up anyways. Oh, frick, of course I had Keqing active. What was I gonna say? Oh, Emilie on-fielded with C6 Candace. I'm getting so distracted, I'm sorry. Where's Candace? Why am I having... God, this game. It's so freaking hard to find the characters. C6 Candace, sorry, C6 is probably required for this because you want some Hydra application. But the idea is that, you know, the Hydro infusion on Emilie could be better for getting like big normal attack or charge attack damage on Emilie's, like for Emilie forward vapes, because if you have burning going on, that means that's pyro application that you can use to vaporize in your Hydro hits. Alternatively, it might create some extra bloom cores, right? So I don't know exactly what the team looks like. It would be Emilie, Bennett, Candace, because when you're on fielding Emilie, Bennett is nonsensically strong for Emilie. Like Emilie's, one thing that's weird about how they balance Emilie is like, it would have actually, for an off-field support unit, it would have made more sense for them to put something in the kit like make Emilie's personal damage multipliers a bit lower, but then give her like, oh my god, the idle lines co-op, man. Like give her like an attack buffing passive or something for the team, but then make her personal like damage lower in balancing that. Because the weird problem Emilie has is that there's going to be contexts wherein like, yeah, you could do insert on-fielder here with an Emilie team, but also it might actually be stronger to just on-field Emilie herself.
This is an auspicious era.
So, that's kind of funny. That's what I think is going to be the case with Emilie, because they just made her multipliers that strong, which is odd. Like I think I saw a when I watched like I try to watch like different people's takes on characters and see how my view of them lines up. But like I think Jay Stern said he like gave an example of Keqing with Risley, and how like yeah you can do like Emilie will be really nice for Risley for like a burn melt team comms, making that more compelling, because like Nahida doesn't do much personal damage in that context. That's great. Except that's exactly a team where like if you're doing burn melt with Emilie, you could on-field Emilie instead of Risley, and the team is stronger. Oops. Like that's kind of unfortunate, which is kind of the state of Cryo, to be honest. Like it's like cool that you have stronger team options for Risley now, but they didn't put any buffing in Emilie's kit. It's just her personal damage, which means her personal damage goes up significantly with Bennett. So on-field her. I don't know, it's weird. So, anywho's. Replace Risley with Ganyu? No, replace Risley, like if you're doing like Emilie, Bennett, like what you can do, what is a Risley? I don't know what a Risley burn melt team looks like exactly, if you want to do shielding or not, but let's say you're doing Zhongli, because Universal Res tried Go. I think here. Right, let's just do something really simple, like Bennett, Emilie, Risley, Zhongli, right? If you on-field Emilie there instead, you get Bennett buff for Emilie's damage. You still have Zhongli things. You still have, you know, Bennett going on. And then, okay, what do? You now have a team slot free to do whatever, right? So now you have a flex slot. You're on-fielding Emilie. You have a flex slot to increase the damage that way. What character do you put there? What is strongest? Probably Farina, most likely, right? You've Farina, Bennett, Emilie, and it's like you don't have to keep Emilie on field constantly. You can just leave her on field, and you can also swap constantly. So Bennett's healing is more than good enough for Farina in a team that's very flexible to swap. Like Emilie, Bennett, Farina, Zhongli should be meaningfully stronger than Risley, Emilie, Bennett, Zhongli is basically the problem, which is more the state of Cryo and how they balance Cryo units. But it's also a state of like they could have avoided this issue, this being a thing. If I don't know why I'm going here. Does this mountain not have? I don't see any. You guys need to lead me. By the way, you're not. Don't follow me. Lead me. Lead me. Here, lead me to the lapis. I'm gonna yap while I follow you guys. I don't need a chest. I don't need no chests. I got Primo Gems on my butt because I'm a content creator, basically. But thank you, I guess. So remember, Primo Gems is whatever. The hero's wits are more valuable from chests than anything, honestly. So, anywho's, go minions, lead me to Core Lapis. Over here, I picked the wrong mountain. That's why. There we go. So like Emilie on-fielded gains so much from Bennett, and then you free up a flex slot in the team that you can put another off-fielder, notably another off-fielder like Farina. So, to be clear, I don't think that's that much of a problem because I forgot why. Why does this game do this? Yeah, see, this is why people don't do co-op in this game. Because like crap like this, where I wasn't loaded in when they went and broke it. So like, yeah, don't break till I'm there. Oh, or someone took them. Yeah. Wait, are these not? Oh yeah, these are only. Also don't take them. Either or happened. I'm not sure what happened. Either someone took them or they didn't like load that. I don't know. Whatever. So like Emilie, right? On-fielded. It's fine that Emilie on-fielded would like doing Emilie, Zhongli, Bennett. Doing Risley is like, hey, that's a fun way to make for a strong Risley team if you want to play Risley. But then if you on-field Emilie instead and then just do Frina, it's a stronger team. Like that's basically what it seems to be. But that's a very different thing because that, you know, you're playing Risley because you want to play Risley, right? And I think it's perfectly fine. That is the case. I don't know why I went down here. Only one person can take those? Yeah, okay. That's what it was then. So yeah, this freaking game's co-op design is so stupid. It's so dumb. God. Yoink. Is there only one? Oh no, there's a couple here. Well, I have Cloud Retainer, so you know. Where are you going, player 4? Where is player 4? Or are you getting core lapis over there? I guess maybe. They're just yoinking some other flowers or whatever. That's fine, I guess. Okay, we need. God, we need 45 more. So, anyways, like for me, for how I play the game, where it's just like I just like looking at, okay, I want to on-field the cat. What can I do to what options do I have for on-fielding the cat, kind of thing, right? I have an idea for how to use a character. How can I make that idea work, right? That's what I like as far as like the creative options for what characters kits do and like the layers of interaction between character kits. So it's fine. It's just weird to me that they designed Emilie in a way that is kind of the end conclusion is that Emilie is going to be better to on-field than other units. Like I haven't done damage calcs yet, but in some ways Emilie being on-fielded versus Keqing might be better too. I think Keqing is strong enough that that's not the case. But Emilie being like doing that Emilie, Farina, Bennett core might be stronger with Emilie on field with a flex slot in the force slot versus doing Keqing on field. Might. I haven't done calcs for this, to be clear. But it's just weird, right? Because they could have avoided that by just giving Emilie some amount of like not just like necessarily attack percent buff, but either like an attack percent buff or buffing the actual reactions happening. Something that like necessitates her actually being off-field in some form, or specifically incentivizes different characters to be on-field versus herself. Like them just making it so she's just a big multiplier unit, wherein like burning buffs her, she does not buff burning. She's just a big multiplier output unit that can work off-field. That get like it's weird to me. So that's what they want to design off-fielders like. Because the end conclusion, if they keep on designing off-fielders like that, is that it's more valuable to on-field your off-fielders than it is to on-field your on-fielders. All they had to do was make her do something externally that wasn't just increase her own personal multiplier damage when burning is happening. Like that could be attack buff, could be something else, right? Some other layer of thing that incentivizes an on-field unit versus an off-field unit. Versus just on-fielding herself. But anyways, it's fine because it means she's gonna like, for how I like enjoy playing the game, she's gonna be a really good unit to on-field. There's some high potential for it. Keqing can on-field with Emilie. Duh. Duh. Keqing is an on-fielder. He can on-field with any team. He's gonna on-field. A Keqing team needs Keqing to on-field basically. Like to be clear, he has some on-field potential. What am I doing? He has some off-field potential, but like more than Alhaitham, but he has the same energy generation problem that Alhaitham has, so like not really, basically. If you are presently we're gonna use these because it makes my brain feel better. If I don't see my hero's wits disappearing. Do I have enough of these? I do. Plan. Look at that. Alright. Pivot. Now we just need 43 more. Wee. Okie dokie. There's one over here. Thank you, Yanfei. Yanfei. Okie dokie. Some over here. Yeah, the rocks are annoying. They are definitely a reason I didn't bother leveling her in the past. Alright, thank you to Toe. Okay, and player 4 You went over here. Okay, cool. So, when auto add uses the purple books instead of making it even, yeah, pretty much. What was it saying? Emilie is just a weird case of like it confuses me that they want to on-field, they want to design off-fielders this way, right? It's a good thing for me, honestly, because it means doing shenanigans like on-fielding your off-fielders is better. But it also worsens the problem that I feel, wherein like on-fielders aren't very valuable to pull for over time. But you know, I do want to kill this actually. Oh my god, that was an odd camera action with the wall there. I'm not exactly doing that much damage with my support build on Cloud Retainer here. Plunge Zhongli. Plunge Zhongli. I think you get the Zhongli, this co-op. I assume Cloud Retainer gives the buff to co-op. Maybe she doesn't. Come on. Your Zhongli does not do that much damage. I'll just say that. I don't. Wait. Does he get the buff? I don't know if he does. Also, it's a black tassel Zhongli. That's why. We see. We see. Anyway, don't need to kill these. What are we doing? We're leveling Keqing. Well, ascending Keqing now. Cloud Retainer buffs and call. That's what I thought. Okay, good. I wasn't wrong. I wasn't just being insane telling them to plunge. Alright, thank you. I might have used up all the buff actually now that I think about it by the time they they started punching. Did I ignore the rock? What do you mean? I grabbed the rock. I could have sworn I grabbed the rock. Oh my god. Oh, this one? You mean this one? I see. I do not have a damaging character. If Emilie passive stacked EM for her, she'd become wanted a lot. Yeah, they could have done a lot of things for Emilie's design that would have made her a bit more mechanically interesting. Like, she's still going to be a good character. I think I'm going to use her a lot. I'm going to like her a lot. Is my suspicion. But is there more here, Scorpio? Oh yeah, I think there's some inside there. Yeah. It's just like, I think they could have done more interesting things with her. As far as off-field unit that you include in burning teams, it goes as a baseline design level. And it's weird to me that they're just going like the simplest route possible, but I don't know. Mahoyo gonna Mahoyo, I guess. No, the other one near the enemies? Okay, I'll go get there. See, this is why Zhongli's not the greatest rock collector in this game. I maintain that Candace is better. Specifically because of that problem there, where you need to wait for his like 10-second cooldown versus a 6-second cooldown. Okay, I should specify C4 Candace. So I think C0 pre-C4 Candace has a longer cooldown. But anywho's, there's Razor too, I guess. I forgot about Razor. I don't remember. What's Razor's cooldown? I do not remember. Oh gosh, where was the? Over here. I could have sworn I grabbed this. I did not. Alright, thank you. There's more over there? No? Oh, you teleported. Okay. There's still one over there. How's Candace good for rock collecting? You don't know? Oh my god. Chances are any character that seems like they do an attack that has a heavy impact to it that's not always the case necessarily, but if it's an attack that has a heavy impact to it, if you can notice that, chances are it's good at breaking rocks. Does this seem like it has an impact to you? The answer. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. I need to demonstrate. The answer. So, I think I can actually get both these at once. Whoops, I pressed her too early. That was just my bad. That was a skill issue. I don't know why I did that. Okay, I didn't quite position properly. I was actually surprised I got this one and not the other one. But, yeah. To be clear, it's slightly less AoE. So in this instance, Zhongli would have been slightly better to get those two rocks, because they were just kind of the perfect distance apart. I think if I positioned ever so slightly more this way. Or actually, you know what probably happened there? You know what probably happened there? Was I think the hitbox on Candace's skill doesn't go below her. That's probably what happened, right? So the hitbox is probably, if you see my mouse cursor, it's probably like something like this, right? So the width was enough, but it doesn't go below where she landed. And because the rock was below where she's standing, it didn't actually hit that rock. So that was actually not an AoE issue. That was just a hitbox of her skill issue. Not on the width, but on on the Z, on the vertical axis. Or Y, whatever you want to call the vertical axis. So, anyways. Is there more here? Why is everyone here? Is there a cave or something? Is that what you're going to? But anyways, there's plenty of characters in the game that are good at rock collecting, but it's why I think most people consider Zhongli the best rock collector, and I don't think he's the best rock collector. Not that that's that much of a selling point for a character. Thank you. 2 more over there. Oh my god, how did I miss so many on this mountain? It wasn't me. It was my minions. How dare my minions miss all these rocks? Ooh, hello. Candace is on. Ooh, she's on her instructor's build. Well, I wanted the drops, but we're not doing that. Oh well. Oh yeah, there's 2 over there. I forgot about those ones. I've collected these before. You'd think I would remember this, but anywho's. Yeah, Candace's skill does. It can be really awkward in some ways. What's going? Oh, they look like they're broken, but they're not broken. Candace's skill can do. Was that the Whopper flower firing down from all the way up there? Was that what's happening there? Was he raining fire on us? It was like siege warfare. Anyways. Sniper flower indeed. More over there. Oh boy. Okay, this mountain has so many. What set would you recommend for Candace? Instructors is theoretically the best. It's definitely the best I've seen. So when I have tested like Candace on instructors versus non-instructors can be the difference maker between her feeling better than Yelan. Particularly in single target situations. Like in single target situations, Yelan is basically the same as Candace, C6. And you know, you need C6 of Candace for Arlecchino. That's the baseline requirement. I was using her on Emblem for a while just with convenience because like 260 ER Emblem build. But recently I have switched to using this instructor build, which ideally would not use a pyro goblet. Ideally I would like an HP goblet, which honestly I haven't checked. HP goblet with ER, that is. Because Candace's buff scales on HP. Now how much additional buff do I get from an HP goblet on instructors? Probably barely any. ER please. Oh! Wow. Game likes me.
I will always
not that 1 ER roll is that amazing, but hey, also it's a minimum roll, I think. But you know, we get another one. Okay. Okay. Well, not my favorite instructor's goblet in the world. If I ever see another HP instructor's goblet, is going in the toilet. Another HP instructor's goblet with HP on it, but you know that increased my HP to 23,000, so I think that was like 3,000 more HP, which increases the normal attack buff by a whopping 1.5%. So Bennett is usually not triggering a reaction in normal rotations for the Arlecchino-Candace team. Because normally you go Arlecchino into like Bennett, like the fastest rotation possible. Like I have Bennett, I think, and Zyphos on my Coswood definitely helps me in this, by the way. So you would potentially need more ER and subsets than I have. I want to emphasize that. But I have a 237 ER Bennett, right, on Noblesse with Aquila. And if you do like Arlecchino E into Bennett, and normally I don't E on Bennett unless I need the extra energy for like a rotation that went scuffy somehow or whatever, right? So I do like Arlecchino E immediately into Bennett Q, immediately swap over Bennett and do Causeway E, not wholly, just to plunge it. Like the goal, one of the main things that can make Candace actually be better than Yelan again is that there can be faster rotations. Not always. Like, again, functionally, like, Candace C6 is mostly a side grade in single target situations for Arlecchino Vape, but in AoE situations where the AoE Hydro can actually matter on Candace, like, for example, the triple Kenkis that we had freaking 2 months ago, basically, at this point, like, Candace was better there than Yelan. In the current Abyss, she's, like, mostly a side grade, but she can start to be better with instructors, and she can start to be better with yeah, just with instructors and with really fast rotations, which means like it's more of a higher skill expression kind of thing. I really enjoy the team. I enjoyed a lot more than playing her with Yelan. But for how most players play, it's not gonna be like, oh god, do you really need this? Like, do you need to do? No, it's not that insane of a synergy. But I significantly prefer it. So, anyways, like the ideal is E into Arlecchino, Bennett Q. Don't even E on Bennett. That takes too much time if you're trying to go as fast as possible. Do a tap E on Kazuha. Do EQ or QE on Candace. Doesn't really matter. Hopefully trigger Fav. You know, R5 Fab is ideal. And then I don't like that I fell. Well, I only lost like a percentage. Whatever. And then switch to Arlecchino. And like sometimes you can actually have an issue where you rotate too fast between Bennett, Kazuha, Candace, that Arlecchino's E is not done cooking, right? Because you have to wait 5 seconds. Like 5 seconds is supposed to pass beforehand. So you have to like wait like half a second or so before you actually charge attack to be able to to do that. So, which is funny. But that also can give you a little bit of flexibility, and like you can actually hold the on Kazuha sometimes if need be, in order to group enemies better, right? If that's relevant. So, anywho's, I really like the Candace Arlecchino Bennett team. And I will probably forever, like, you know, I didn't, thank you, I guess. I will, I think there was Core Lapis here. Oh, that's what this was. That's what I got this mixed up with. I will forever brag about me being the one that, like, I don't know if I was the first player ever, to be clear, that tried Arlecchino, C6, and Candace together, but if you go and follow any of my coverage of Arlecchino, like the live streams where I talked about Arlecchino pre-release, I said before a release that I was pretty confident that Candace C6 was going to work with Arlecchino. I wasn't 100% confident about it, because I always don't like to guarantee things that I'm thinking are going to work. Why are... Oh, over there. Okay, we're going to go to this one first. But then, of course, when I did the Zajef collab where Zajef played on Polearms only, and then I was like, hey, wink, wink, try Candace. And he's like, no way. And then that spiraled into the, you know, the community realizing, oh, Candace works with Arlecchino. Candace C6 works with Arlecchino and has some meaningful upsides. Yeah, it's not so insane that you need to do it or anything. You need to stress about chasing it, but it is compelling enough. And also notably, Yelan's a valuable character, and valuable enough character in potential other teams that, like, if you can do a team of, you know, Candace, Arlecchino, Bennett, Kazuha, that frees up your Yelan for the other side of Abyss potentially, right? When Hydro units can be at a premium, a 4-star Hydro unit freeing up a valuable 5-star Hydro unit is potentially a significant value. By the way, if you get good at Candace E, you can, you know how her animation does, it shifts into the like when you see that thing happen, the animation switch, that's when you can do her like versus her just like thrust move or the ground pound move. you can time this properly right before, right? I think I actually did it slightly late there. If you time it perfectly, you don't even see the animation start, and you can still get the ground pound going. Which also gives you a higher multiplier, and it gives you more particles. So it gives you 36% HP multiplier, which on an instructor's build is not that relevant. But more notably, it can give you more particles. And it takes, I believe it takes exactly a second. I didn't get it there. I think it takes exactly a second to get off. There we go. Did it there. Yoink. Oh, hello.
These look surprisingly useful.
Hello, Dom's toe. 40% damage bonus for normal attacks and AoE Hydro. I don't know if she's doing... On an instructor's build, she does slightly less normal attack damage bonus, but the EM goes hard. To be clear, it doesn't go so hard that you have to do it. I want to emphasize that. Like, Emblem, just for the energy, just building energy and HP on her can be completely fine. Right. And then 4-piece Emblem can be good because she is doing not 0 damage with her own personal damage contribution with these instances of damage, as well as this damage from her C6. So like when I have tested Emblem versus Instructors on her, it's not that different. It's not crazily different, right? I use that team with Arlecchino on a no crit build. The team is strong enough that like min-maxing very slight differences in Candace's HP and on instructors or whatever is just like not important versus just making sure you can burst on her, right? But yeah, you can get a meaningful amount of normal attack damage bonus. Okay, let's go here. I think you've been waiting. I'm sorry. Should I pull for Yelan? I mean, she's basically the more that supports they release in this game, the less necessary any individual supportive off-field unit is. She's still a strong, pretty useful supportive unit. Realistically, though, like because of Xingqiu's existence, because of Freena's existence. Oh, rip! I'm sorry, Luca. You've been murdered by a slime. Is there more Corlapis here? I don't remember if there's any more here. I think there might be more up here. There is? Okay, good. So, if Candace was on Emilie banner, yeah, it would have been cool. I think there might, again, I think there might be potential for Candace Emilie shenanigans. How do you find instructors artifacts? You get them from Overworld, and then most notably, you can get them from Overworld exploration, from elite enemies, and then you get them from boss drops. So, for when you're farming bosses. So watch for them most notably when you're farming bosses. That's the most common spot. Yelan is still a must pull. No character's a must pull. There's lots of very valuable pulls, and I think Yelan is one of the more valuable ones. Like for what it's worth, right? Yelan was the difference maker. Like, as soon as I got Yelan, ever since I got Yelan, I started 36 starring every single Abyss cycle. To be clear, I got Yelan like when she first released, when she was a new character, and the Abyss was a bit easier back then. Like getting Yelan today is not necessarily going to be the same amount of difference maker for you. Depends on the state of your account. For me, it was also an aspect of like I just hadn't really meaningfully done much with Hydro in the game, and didn't realize how strong Hydro was, right? But Yelan's a good character. It's just she's also never been more unnecessary than ever before. You're gonna get very murdered.
The law.
One more this way. Thank you, Luca. Thank you for your sacrifice. I don't know where this way is. Oh, I see it. I see it. That was brilliant. Just Yanfei goes and admires the view, and then 3 wizards pop up in front of her face. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think Yelan is anywhere near a must pull anymore. Like, if you have Farina, Nuvilat, Xingqiu C6 especially, like, and you already have an invested, like, notably, I didn't have an invested Xingqiu C6 build when I got Yelan originally, right? I just didn't. So Yelan had a lot higher relative value for me to invest to because I didn't really have any other hydros. So, anywho's, like take that for what you will. She's not an easy character to evaluate the value of anymore because of how we just have more options for hydro. But yeah. If you have Farina and Xingqiu already, in particular, if you have Farina and Xingqiu already invested into, I think, was this Luca? I don't remember. Trying to go like, I'm trying to make sure like people aren't just sitting in the same spot for like 10 minutes. If you haven't invested, you know, Xingqiu and you got Farina and you have other hydro options for like Nuvilet, hydro on-fielders, right? There's a lot potential less need you might have for yet another hydro is kind of all it is. But if you really like the character too, especially like you will not find, it's not that hard to find places where Yelan shines. And realistically, if you want cases where Yelan shines the most, it would be in double hydro situations, right? Having a Yelan build that can have a lot lower ER is a Yelan build that can output a lot more damage. Like she can output higher damage than Xingqiu can when she's double hydro, like quite significantly potentially. But it depends on your build you have available, depends on weapons. Where'd you just take me to toe? I don't see no lapis. It's probably down here. Nope. Okay. GG showed the wrong one. Ah, I see. Classic. That's why I hate those passives, because like they don't show you which ones you're actually looking for, which makes it not very useful. I think there is, yeah. I do believe there's more over here. I recall. I feel like if you have Farina, the value of Yelan increases for your account. Yeah, you might be right because of the double hydro core, but like I don't really care about doing Yelan and Farina together, personally. Just because like, I don't know, especially with Siege Queen now, like if I'm going to do double hydro with Farina, I'd rather do Siege Queen. Because that gives me more flexibility with teams versus like, to make use of Yelan, you need to be doing normal attacks, right? So, and also I'd still need a healer in that context. So, I don't know. Take it for what you will. With my account, at the state it's at, with these characters, I rarely use Yelan anymore. So even with this current Abyss cycle, like I have played a bit more with Yelan lately, not crazily so, but a little bit more lately, just because of the fact that, you know, this Abyss do be one that likes hydro. But it's not been one where it's like, oh, I need hydro, right? Is C1 Yelan worth pulling? I mean, it has exploration value. Like it's a rare constellation that has value outside of combat, right? And that can make it potentially relevant. But what does it do other than that? Well, it has the typical like problem, from what I recall, wherein right it gives her skill an additional charge, and then oh no, it doesn't have that. Okay, it can because of the 10-second skill cooldown, it can potentially extend your rotation slightly. Like you're going to have situations where you're not going to necessarily get value out of that extra energy in combat necessarily, but most of the time functionally it does just reduce her ER needs, which can make her damage actually, assuming you have the artifacts for it, like assuming if C1 is the difference maker between you being able to switch to an HP timepiece versus a ER timepiece, especially in like solo hydro situations, it might be it might be enough of a difference maker to be worthwhile to you, especially in conjunction with the overworld utility. My favorite thing to do with C1 Yelan, and this is something I might make a video again on, an updated video on trying new artifacts, because the last time I did it was pre-Fontaine. But doing, is there any 4 lapis here? No. But doing a vape Yelan build, which I think is particularly relevant to do again because of, you know, the forward vape care that's releasing in 5.0. And I don't know, it's a fun thing to explore, trying to forward vape on Yelan's skills. When I played it before, I was able to... Okay, I think this is a phantom. There's no actual core lapis here. I think we've been tricked. We've been duped. We've been duped. That's fine. I think we should be fine. Maybe. Let's go over here. I'm going to pull for 5.0 character, whichever one Kachina's banner is on, which I feel like is likely to be Mualani. So, yeah. I'm more interested in Kandich for, like, overworld grapple-y things in some ways, but I also think I would get more bored. I don't know. I think I'd get bored of Kandich and Mualani equally. They'd both be interesting to play around with in their own ways, but, you know. Are you underground? You're underground, are you? Frick. Where's the cave entrance here? Is it that cave entrance? I have no idea. What am I in combat with? Oh, you. Hello. This is not the right cave entrance. So, ow. Definitely not. Okay. How many do you still need? I'll check in a second. Let me get to safety. Burn vape C6 Keqing with Emilie. Yeah, that's what I want to try. It'll probably be Xinyan Kazuo, which you'll have to watch that. I originally used Bennett in that video, but there's actually no reason to use Bennett over Xinyan, funnily enough. Thanks to Jeff's tweet for that realization. But yeah, it'll be the same like team format you can play with Mualani, functionally, but vaping Yelan. And being able to vape both of Yelan's skills, like just trying to completely form a team around vaping Yelan's skills, can be pretty significant. As far as like front-loaded damage output goes. And it's kind of interesting, and like you're not gonna vape Yelan's follow-up hits, but the idea would be, you know, you can still use some of Yelan's burst to get some amount of damage after you get the 2 vapes, is the general idea. Yeah. It worked well enough when I did it last. I think it'll work well again. I might still have to use Bennett actually with Yelan now that I think about it, instead of I might have to use Bennett instead of Xinyan, sorry, with forward vape Yelan, because of the fact that Bennett, it's going to be more flexible for just like I can switch to him, do an E to get rid of some hydro if I have too much hydro. Because this issue that could happen with Yelan is, in case you didn't know, Yelan's burst, it procs on normal attacks, right? Her damage happens from the exquisite throws on normal attacks, and also when you do her skill. So if you're trying to forward vape her skill twice in a row with C1, that means, you know, you might actually have too much hydro for forward vaping the second skill from the first time, after you do it the first time, right? Because it'll proc her burst or not. So Xinyan might actually not be enough, but I'll play around with it. It'll be interesting to return to it because I haven't done forward vape Yelan in a while, but it's the funnest thing I got. As far as any of Yelan's constellations go, C1 was the funnest one. That's all I can say. I think, are we done here? Are we done here? Who are we with? Scipio? No, we're with Luca, sorry. Yeah, like Yelan should quit vaping. It's unhealthy for her. And by the way, Mualani should be better of a vape unit than Yelan C1 vape. Like, as much as people are being like, yeah, Mahario nerfing things to the ground, do pose, Mulan is gonna be fine, and people are gonna like her. Trust me. I've seen enough of this community's reactions to like characters changing in beta and whatever Doom posting. People will like Mualani and they'll be happy with her. She does not need to be an overpowered unit for people to be happy with her. I don't know. Is there more here, Luca? You tell me. Let me follow you. I will follow. I know there's other caves, right? There's the cave over here. Did we go into this cave? No, there's not. Oh, okay. My bad. Oh, there's another one over there. God freaking taken. Okay. Where? I guess we'll go here. And then we'll actually wait. Who's been waiting? I think Scipio might have been waiting the longest. Let's go Scipio. Do I have enough rocks? Oh yeah, I need to check the rocks. Forgot. Can you run Melt Risley with Toma? Yeah. Should be able to do like Emily. You do like Emily, Bennett, Risley, Toma, right? The off-field pyro plus the off-field Dendro equals burning. You get some off-field pyro. Bennett buff, go burr. And then like Risley do melts. Blam. Easy. What's it doing? Wait. Did we overfarm? Nope. We need 10 more. Okay. Emily's probably going to be a unit I may regret not getting, but I can't afford to lose a guarantee right now. Yeah, I mean, Emily's a character that I think, for most players, I don't know. It's annoying how they're releasing this character in like the least hyped up way possible. I think, like they just aren't trying to sell this character in like any way, shape, or form, right? But then they're still releasing her for like, I don't know, just as a way, like releasing her before units that are synergistic with her, just as a way to try to bait people out of Primogems before 5.0. It's kind of a dick move. Especially with the Nathlan racism passive and the fact that she's not a Nathlan character even. So she synergizes with them really well, but doesn't synergize with the Nathlan racism passive. Cool. Oh, I thought that would break it. There we go. Benny news. My YouTube chat broke. Also, what is the poll at? I forgot about my poll. 568 votes, 62% says to do character account reviews. Alright, thank you for the feedback. I'll probably do another, I think my current plan to try to like make the account review streams less chaotic. It's still gonna be a bit chaotic. But at least like make the chat not just people spamming UIDs, is to make a Google form where people can submit UIDs to. And then like it'll just be a Google form, review my whatever in whatever character. And then I'll just do like a random number generator, right? So that I'll type in, I'll go to the Google form, see how many entries there are, and do a random selection from that. I could actually probably just do a random function in the form itself, now I think about it. So I'll try to set that up tomorrow, and that'll probably be what Tuesday's stream is. And then Wednesday I will stream as well, because Wednesday will be Emily testing. And then... and Wednesday we'll also have an Emily video. Emily summoning video. Because, you know, gotta acquire the character. Got Gamba content, you know. Usually fun. Stressful as well. At least I'm not pulling for a 4-star this time. Okay, are we done here? I think we're done here. Might be one more around here. Oh, you found it. Nice. Okay. Where are you? Where are you hidden? Oh, there you are. Hello. Alright. Let's kill this. Oh yeah, I forgot. I love Mihoyo and their co-op design. Makes characters that have switching mechanics, and then, you know, to be clear, I like that Candace's switching mechanics. You know, Mihoyo utilizing one of the most core mechanics of the game, underutilized the most switching mechanic, one of the most core mechanics in the game, really heavily in my opinion. Justifiably because of how jank switching can be. But, like, yeah, Candace swap Hydra application not functioning co-op. Beautiful. Good job, Mihoyo. Your co-op is so well designed. Okay, let's go here, I guess. Okay, this is like the perfect distance away from all of these waypoints. Chiori swap is pretty cool. Yeah, I agree. I hope they do more of that with Nathlan characters. I do really like the movement focus. I really like character kits with movement focus abilities. It's a big part of why I like Arlecchino so much. Not the only thing, but you know. What would you say is a generally good crit rate for main DPS? I mean, if your character wants crit, the ratio to aim for is generally 1 to 2. But if you learned anything from like my Arlecchino video, is that, like, you know, particularly at lower investment, right? One of the most interesting things that no crit Arlecchino video showed, in my opinion, was when I switched to deathmatch at the end and switched to a crit damage circlet and a crit rate weapon, right? I was critting with like 44% crit rate. Like, it was okay. It was nothing insane, but like it basically performed almost exactly the same, like slightly better, but almost nearly the same as the 0 crit build, right? And that's because of that variance, right? Like when you crit is only a stat that gives you value when you crit, so like it's just more inconsistent. And that's I think what I was feeling in the difference there, and where it was like better but not that much better. And I think it was because of that inconsistency. So yeah, as far as like really invested builds go, I agree with what the chat is saying. My personal minimum is around, I didn't even notice all the way. Oh yeah, there's that spot up there. I forgot. Is around 70%. Like anything less than 70, like even 70%, honestly, for how invested most of my builds are, is generally speaking a bit low, I would say, because like I can notice the difference between a 70% build as far as consistency goes and an 80% build, but you know, it doesn't really matter that much, right? But like having a scuff crit ratio like this one, on my Arlecchino, ends up making for a situation wherein the difference between how fast I can clear sometimes might be critting on certain hits, right? When I have a 24% chance not to crit, right? Missing that crit on the big hits, like in the Candace Arlecchino Bennett team I was talking about earlier, right? I can hit like 300,000 damage on some of Arlecchino's hits. So if I just fail if I had 24% chance to not crit and I don't hit the 300k, well then all that juicy crit damage stat doesn't do anything, right? You're still moving, so I'm just gonna guess you haven't found anything yet. So you know, but it's fine because it just might mean like if I'm interested in optimizing the team, it just means I need to spend a little bit more time resetting or whatever. I don't care. I'm fine with that because I enjoy playing the combat. My goal is not to get in and out of the abyss as fast as possible. Even in my videos that you've seen me being frustrated sometimes, it's a frustration that I channel into like enjoyment, usually, and like it's a motivator for me. So and I voice my frustration in the moment. It's just momentary, nonsensical, non-justified frustration, really, most of the time. And sometimes it has various levels of justification depending on whatever. But anywho's, so I don't know. I used to like recommend pushing like really not having this imbalance of a crit ratio, but realistically it doesn't matter that much as long as you're comfortable with just resetting in the situations where you get screwed by RNG, you know, not hitting that vaped hit when you need to vape it in order to like clear, you know, a rotation 5 seconds earlier potentially. Like that can be the difference between critting sometimes in this kind of build. Oh well. You just do it, you reset. Oh well. Do you speak another language besides English? I have enough linguistics knowledge that I think I could learn whatever language. Like I could pick up the basic structures of many languages easier than I think the average person could. It's not me trying to insult the average person. I'm just saying that like, where's Keqing? I'm just trying to say like I have enough linguistics knowledge to understand that like languages are actually more similar than people realize. For like their foundational principles, and I know what to look at as far as understanding the basics of language in order to like compare it to my own use of like English, and that helps me learn the differences and like get into practice of using. You know, we just need to go get these and then these, get in the practice of doing, you know, language. But it's still the same process as anyone is to actually learn a language. I have to like try to use it, right? And I've never lived in an environment that forced me to, right? I would love to learn Japanese, but you want to know what the best way to learn Japanese is? Move to Japan. Right? You want to know the best way to learn Spanish? Go live with people that use Spanish all the time. That's the best way to learn a language. Regardless if you have like linguistics knowledge or not. And I haven't lived in a situation that forced me to have any necessity to do so, right? So yeah, as a linguistics major, you agree? Nice, welcome. I'm glad to have you here. You probably know more about linguistics than me. Language patterns are easy to pick up if you pay enough attention. Yeah. So anyways, if there's any language I personally motivate myself to learn more, it's probably Japanese, because I'm a stupid weeb. Like not because like a meme weeb reasons, like I want to be able to talk to waifus. Like no, I don't care about that. What I care about is like, I'm as much as I'm fine with subtitle language. Again, I know enough about language and know that like there's no such thing as a perfect translation. It's not possible, because human language has nuance, and you have like wordplay that is lost, right? Right here, right now, emerge. You have like, you know, nuance in language that is lost in translation, such that like, and I watch enough foreign media and Japanese media that I think I could meaningfully gain value from being able to understand and speak Japanese, right? Like it's the core one that I think I could motivate myself, but like, I just gotta like, to do it, I just gotta be like, spend a day learning a new thing, right? That's what I've said before in my streams, where like I really need to get into the habit of just have one day a week that is not making YouTube videos, is not thinking about stupid Genshin BS, right? It's not playing games with my friends. It's just, today is me sitting my arse down and learning something. That is what I have failed in my adult life to get in the habit of. The two core things that I would actually like to refine my skills with said day, is like a day a week just for learning, is a new language, or languages maybe, and also programming skills. Those are the two things I've been intending to refine my skills on, but I just failed. You attended college, was your major? Communication studies, which by the way does not mean I know how to talk. It just told me how to study. Like I studied communication. I know I learned that humans be humans. Like, communication studies is annoying. The communication studies is not an art major. It's most schools will label it under like the liberal or whatever, the like schools will divide like by arts and like sciences. Communication studies is a science. I'm sorry. It's a more qualitatively focused science, because if you're going to analyze human communication, something that doesn't have a hard boundaries that you can make judgments on, you have to make qualitative judgments, not just quantitative judgments. Like one of the things in communication studies they taught is like, doing quantitative studies is important. Like you need to know statistic things, because that's how you do a good study. But also you need to qualitatively judge things. You cannot judge human existence and make conclusions about human existence from a completely, you know, one perspective standpoint kind of thing. You gotta adapt to humans are complicated messes, right? And that's basically what communication studies was. I learned how humans are messy. Like it did a very, I think studying communication, it didn't really make me that different of a communicator. But what studying communication did is it let me understand people better. I think it made me a better person. It made me a less hateful, spiteful person. Like I have this specific moment that happened shortly after I started. I went back to school. Like I and started studying communication, and I minored in linguistics, by the way. So like I feel like most of my mental energy was probably spent more on linguistics, honestly, than communication. But linguistics was more interesting to me. The reason I didn't get a linguistics degree versus a communication degree was because the school's linguistics degree, basically to get a linguistics degree, the only difference between getting a linguistics minor and a linguistics major at my school was basically that a linguistics major required all the other non-linguistics English bullshit courses to get a linguistics major versus linguistics minor. That was the actual difference. Like the actual courses I took for the linguistics minor were all linguistics like related courses. There was only like literally I think 1 or 2 more courses from what I recall would actually be linguistics related to get a linguistics major at my school. And then there was like 10 additional courses of just other English bullshittery. Like you know, writing kind of things. Like, and that's like, not that writing isn't valuable, but like, writing is not, doing creative writing, you know, studying Shakespeare is not linguistics. I'm sorry. I mean, it's, you could say it's historical linguistics. You could do a linguistics perspective of Shakespeare. Like, you could analyze Shakespeare from a linguistics perspective. But like, for a degree, saying I got a linguistics degree, the school requiring all this English bullshit. Yeah, like literature, exactly. Like, there was literature courses that were required for the, it's because the linguistics major was under like the general like English department category. So like the department basically required for the linguistics major to have some like baseline subset of like all English like related courses, but like you choosing to major in the English department in linguistics was a choice to like just specialize towards linguistics courses, not a choice to only study linguistics, right? So like nonsense, like absolute nonsense, because linguistics is quite distinct. Well, particularly the linguistics I was interested in. There is some, like, linguistics is very broad. There is some subsets of linguistics that is like, I've done such a good job at talking about Keqing this video. I'm gonna have to retitle this video. I'm sorry. Anyways, what was I saying? So anyways, I majored in communication because the courses, the actual individual courses I wanted to take and learn information about were more interesting. That's why I ended up majoring in communication versus linguistics, even though I spent more mental energy, I think, learning about new things from linguistics courses from my minor. Is like on a technical level, the things I didn't know before in linguistics were more interesting. But my actual communication courses made me understand human people better. And I have this distinct moment, like this is one of like the few moments of like I have experienced in my life that I was like, this is like an epiphany style moment, right? Wherein I was leaving my parents and I was downstairs in the basement watching something on the TV, and my stepfather, who is someone like throughout much of my childhood, I like had grown to dislike him. Like notably into like my mom got married to him when I was like 6 or 7. I don't even know. I was quite young. I was in like elementary school too, still. And like I just grew to like dislike him over time to a degree that I used to describe as like I kind of hated him. I don't hate him anymore. I think he did a good job with what he did what he thought it was best. But like he came down the stairs and I heard him walking down, and he's a relatively like big guy. He's like a 6 foot, 200 and some pound dude. And like I heard him walking down the stairs, and then he just starts having a coughing fit, like this is me fake coughing, but it sounded like that. Like it was like horrible coughing. I just like, oh god, that actually hurt like my thigh. I'm gonna take a drink of water. That felt like really like. Anyways. Like bad coughing, and like he's walking down. I'm just like, are you okay? But like in that happening, I just had this moment in my head. I was like, oh, she's just a human too. Like all my stupid messy thoughts I have in my head about trying to like make conclusions about reality and my beliefs and whatever, etc. He's gone through these too. He's just a dude that's doing what he thinks is best. And my hate all went away immediately. He's just a dude. Like I don't know, it's weird. Like I have this weird perspective of like general like I like to understand people, but it also takes too much effort to understand people. So I'm just a really oddly forgiving person in a sense, like in that I think there's reasons for why everyone is the way they are, kind of thing, right? It's impossible to ever fully understand anyone else's lived experiences. So the best thing you can do if you want to is try to be open with them and try to communicate with them and understand them if you want to. but you don't have the time. There's so many people on the planet, so many people you might meet. You can't possibly understand everyone you meet. So I just default to, you know, giving people the benefit of the doubt, right? And yeah, I don't know. And like I don't hate anyone anymore. I don't think any individual deserves hate. Well, okay. There's one person, but I'm not gonna. I don't wanna get into politics. I think one person that's alive right now has done really significant damage to people's lives and deserves hate. But, you know, I don't feel like politicking. So yeah. Like it like the reason I can hate that, I feel like I can hate that individual is actually Bun, what Bun sends there. You mostly understand why people act the way they do stuff. Exactly. Like I feel like I mostly understand the way people act and do stuff. That's actually why I can hate this individual, is because I can understand why he acts the way he does. I know why he does it. We know why he does it. It's not that complicated. And that makes it all the more egregious, in my opinion.
Right here.
So, anywho's. Yeah. How adults were generally right about growing up. I mean, my perspective on, like, growing up is, like, I don't think I've actually changed that much, other than, like, I've just matured and solidified my own views on things, such that I'm, like, I don't know. Like adults become more closed-minded. And that makes reality less interesting. As someone who I'd like to think I'm still fairly open-minded about things, and I think I've become more open-minded in many ways. Not in every aspect of things. Like I can be pretty resistant, like any person, to suggestion about certain ideas. But what am I doing? Oh yeah, I needed these. Good lord, my brain. I just like don't need. What was this thing? I don't know. C6 Keqing is damage bonus. I don't know. Like I don't. As far as like the idea of going back to your childhood and being like, oh, I enjoyed being a child more. I think I enjoyed being an adult more. I wish I was better at forcing myself to learn things, because that's like one thing that school was good for, is like school was good at forcing me to try new things. Self-motivating, and I wish in my childhood I had learned better ways to self-motivate myself to learn things, rather than just having systems that I existed within that forced me to learn things, which was schools. Like, I think school did a very... I was one of the individuals in the American schooling system, which is a mess as far as public schooling system goes, but it didn't really push me to have to learn. I was just able to succeed without having to try, and hence why I struggle now. Despite having the desire to like learn languages and refine my programming skills, I struggle to self-motivate myself to do so, right? Anywho's. I think school does a good job in teaching you how to learn. It didn't for me. Because what I needed is something that like that forced me to make good habits to learn on my own. And instead I've always just been able to like what the American public schooling system that I went through was mostly just
simple and pragmatic way.
How many of these do I have? Not many. I need this for Shenhe. Was just an experience of like memorization more than anything, the vast majority of the time. Like it's a goddamn wonder, honestly, that I have come out of the American public schooling system with as decent of an understanding of some aspects of things I learned, considering how it was mostly just, here's the thing, remember the thing, it'll be on the quiz or the test. Here's a question in the quiz. Did you remember the thing? Oh, you remembered the thing? Good job. I was always good at that. Good enough at that I always succeeded, and I always thought I was smart because of it. But I never actually learned, like, in the public schooling system, I never actually learned the, like, creative thinking mindset that's actually needed in reality, essentially. I learned that through my own lived experiences, and then I also learned how to refine that a little bit in college. And it was a hard lesson to learn because I wasted a lot of money at a terrible school that was basically the kind of the same, if well, not the same. I dislike how they taught, but it wasn't their fault. It was more the public schooling system's fault that didn't prepare me for it. So, anywho's, what am I doing? I already crafted it. Good lord, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I need to go update the title. I've been streaming for an hour and 45 minutes, and I've only just gotten to the point of ascending Keqing here.
Come on, enough procrastinating. Let's go.
Enough procrastinating, yeah. This is why I don't like you, Keqing. You're trying to tell me not to yap. No one tells me not to yap. Only me. Alright. I'm just gonna retitle Rambling while attempting to, shenanigan with C6 Keqing. Here we go. That seems like a more appropriate title. She did call me out. Anywho's. Yeah, someone started a language conversation and then this went to this. Oh, I didn't even notice. I think Toto left. Thank you, Toto, for the help. Thank you, Scipio, Luca, Toto, for helping get,
To survive hardship,
thank you.
you must prepare
Thank
for
you.
hardship.
Oh yeah, what's the crit looking like?
Mind be purged.
Yeah. This is basically a perfect, by the way, as far as... Oh, I didn't ascend. Whoops. Blam. This is basically perfect as far as... Ooh, I wish. Having a stroke goes. She gets, from her Ascension 4 passive, right, 15% crit rate after using her burst for 8 seconds. And ER is increased. So, this basically is 100% crit rate. Well, not for necessarily all of her damage, but enough of it that it's functionally... It's high enough of time you can consider it good enough. The only problem is this uses a artifact that Keqing is not going to stay on. Like all these artifacts that Keqing is using, she can stay on most of the time. Other than the fact, I mean, she's not normally going to be a pyro goblin. We're doing shenanigans. But normally this is Yai's. This is Yai's. Like, sorry, Keqing, you do not get to keep this. And obviously this crit ratio becomes a little bit more scuffed. Like it's not bad, but now we're overcapped on crit rate, right? Which is why I was talking about earlier in the stream how for the build I have, technically, if I'm going to keep Keqing on this build, including if I switch to a different goblet, which would probably be actually I guess first let's try where's the there it is. We'll try an Electro goblet first and see how this team is on Electro goblet. And then we'll see how the team is on a non-Electro goblet. Yeah, so something like this, right? And that's fine, actually, now that I think about it. You know, actually, because I would like to be able to keep Yai on her build. This is a Keqing build that I might actually keep Keqing on, right? Long term. So, like, we're going to try it with this one. Slight overcap crit rate, less crit damage. Like, it's a worse build, but, oh my god, overlapping. Do you have a TF set? Yes, but... But, 1, TF is something that makes sense specifically, like, more for aggravate Keqing. And 2, Sethos. He's kind of monopolizing a lot of my TF pieces right now, to be honest. If I get another crit damage circlet, and I get another flower, then I have this feather available, and I have a timepiece that she could go on 4-piece TF is my point. Permanently. But I would need a couple more artifacts to be able to leave him on. Like I like using Sethos enough that I want to leave him on a build most of the time. So, yeah. Does TF do more for Sethos than Wanderer's Troop? It does for me for how I like to play him. So it depends how you're using him. If you're just doing him with his 3 charge attack playstyle, or just using burst per rotation and no additional charge attacks on top of that, then no. But what the TF build does for me is it lets me just like, as long as I still have, you know, the application engine going, like you still have to switch your other characters occasionally, of course. But it lets me basically just indefinitely charge attack. And that's indefinite application. Like, yeah. So, anywho's, and then we're doing two-piece gladiator because two-piece gladiator, two-piece echoes, two-piece attack, because we're doing Keqing shenanigans here shortly. Thank you, Luca, Scipio, Toto again. Wherein, you know, the TF bonus is not going to be triggered as consistently. So, you know, why use it, right? Versus something that benefits us more. Like, you know, having attack percent is better for our pyro infused damage, for example. So, anywho's. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see how this goes. I think, what do I want to do? I think what I want to do first for comparison here is a non-pyro infused, so that means we're not going to use Bennett. So first I want to try, what do we do? I guess we have to do Shungling. This is what I was talking about before, where there's not much pyro off-field options in the game. So Shungling it is. Hopefully her energy is fine. I feel like this is not, but it's good enough. Yeah, it's good enough. It's good enough, I think. Yeah, it'll be fine. So let's see. Let's see. I haven't even used my freaking resin yet. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, so the Pyro Archon could be like, you know, would be like my version of this team that I prefer instead of Shungling, right? Should I use Yai here instead of Official? Yai might be better, particularly in the first chamber. Official's kind of awkward in this first chamber, first half. Yeah, I think I'm gonna use Yai instead here. Electro Resonance should help with Shungling, yes. A little bit, at least. Okay, we'll do this team. Second half. And then let's see, I didn't level up her talents at all, by the way. Well, past level 4, because I don't know, resources and things. Well, if I feel the need to level up talents to clear here, I will potentially. I do not suspect this is going to be my favorite Chivalrous team that I've ever played, to say the least. But we'll see how it goes. Why am I struggling so much here? Chivalrous, Shungling, and then Keqing. There we go. Yeah, Pyro Traveler could be off-field Pyro Zone. Ooh, crit, thank you. Hopefully Nathlan improves the off-field Pyro options in the game. I don't think I positioned properly for that. That was really dumb. Oh well. Not bad. Not bad at all. It's not super fast or anything. Oh, good. Okay, well, no. It's slightly not good for not catching the particles there, but... No, this will kill you. Can I am really failing to get charge attacks out here. I'm sorry. It's fine. I also was not thinking about how to weave in Yai burst here. There we go. Okay, we're fine. Oh, come on. I should have been doing more charge attacks. Okay, well, that was not exactly ideal. I could have done a number of things better there, like, Yai bursts or whatever. At least the Shungling energy is not really that problematic. One bird being annoying, but, you know, whatever. We'll finish one. We're triggering overloads, obviously, on Keqing here, so, like, Keqing would be getting, like, a not useless damage upgrade from being higher level here, of course, and higher talent level. I want to emphasize that. So let's try to get a slightly better clear. Because I wanna do like a clear that feels pretty decent here. Played a little bit better with the Yai's burst, and then we will. I'll switch to doing a pyro Keqing just for the. Let's see, let's see what Bennett does. All right, doing Bennett shenanigans. I don't know if we do Shungling or not though in the Bennett team. Or not. I feel like I really, you know what? I want to try. Wait. They just grouped themselves. Okay, I wanted them to group themselves, and they just did. I was about to restart. Get the thing that I just had happen. There we go. Okay, and then we can probably. Oh, I didn't get pyro on him. Oh, frick. No. Okay. Guy burst seems kind of awkward to use in this team. I will say that. No, I just teleported to the thing over there. Whoops. Oh my god. Oh my god. Why am I struggling so much with doing charge attacks? Is there something weird with Keqing's charge attack that just makes it hard? I don't know. I forgot to hold E. Didn't even have to burst, but whatever. Actually, no, I have no bless on her. I do want to burst. There might be some kind of jump cancel that would be ideal with her.
Right here, right now, right here.
Where do you think
Right.
you're going?
You know.
Right now.
I didn't have Yai going there for a little bit. Yeah. It was fine. Like, to be clear, I think like that would like I would say teams reaching the clearing in like a minute and 20 seconds in that chamber is where you start to have like realistic standards for like this is a pretty good team for that chamber, but that chamber is also really annoying in a lot of ways. It doesn't mean the team's bad. But as much time as you can give for the second chamber is kind of ideal. But it ultimately depends on like what options you have for pyro, electro units, blah 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 blah. I suspect we won't have too much a problem here. But you know.
There is no escape. One with wind and cloud. Wind strike.
No, you're already down. Okay. No. We'll do this. Okay. These are not grouped properly, but well, I think you group them with that. I don't remember. No. It's just ride and burst, I guess. Okay, this was not an ideal. I think if I group them properly and like gotten these down at the same time, it should be charge attacking. This would have been basically a surefire clear, but we'll see. Oh, we're still clear. To be clear, the difference there in being not as ideal in a lot of ways was definitely like my constellations helping a little. Like when you're clearing with 2 seconds or 1 second to spare, you know, that's when the constellations that make you clear a few seconds faster can make a difference. So you know. But if I played better, I think, you know, without constellations could have been fine. Let's see how this does against Kinky. Particularly because this is a team that, you know, against the Kinker. He likes to move out of Bennett bursts. So, you know, that is a factor. You know, got me. I
sight to behold.
didn't need me to do that, but, you know, whatever. Yeah. Yep, I knew you were gonna do it. Alright. Do this. Yeah, I can tell, I don't know, it's like, Keqing's obviously increasing the team's damage when she's on field, but she definitely needs to have her talent. Well,
So much for eternity.
Keqing definitely needs to have her talents leveled up a little bit more for this team, for her to feel better, since her baseline multipliers affect her damage output a lot, right? Like, I could probably, with like a much more invested Keqing, you know, particularly she's level 90 and she has like level 8 talents, probably get to the level of doubling her personal damage contribution, not doubling the team's damage, but doubling her personal damage contribution.
Right now.
For the purpose of like testing how the team feels, it doesn't really matter here. So, you know, this. Oh god. Also, downside of this team versus the other team we're gonna try. You know, a bit less tanky, and this is one of those situations where, in like, this is what I've been talking about with how. Oh gosh. One of the main downsides. Oh god, we're fine, right? Yeah, we're fine. One of the main downsides of. No, what? Man, Yai feels really okay. I think Official might have been a better choice actually in hindsight, particularly for single target situation here. It's a little bit weird. Team is not as tanky when you don't have additional shielding healing. Like, you're only relying on Chevrolet's healing. This is where in those situations where, in like, yeah, I think the valuable, the upgrade of C6 Chevrolet in this team would be more noticeable in the team-wide defensive utility for it being a team-wide heal, more than it actually would be in its utility as the damage bonus. Both are valuable, but in this team, in the team I was just using with Yai, without Bennett, right? The team-wide heal would be more relevant. So, anywho's, the good Yai Miko skill iframes, indeed. I don't know why I tried the skill iframe. I know you don't really iframe with her skill. So, would you say those are the best, newest 4-star before Chevrolet? Oh, that's an interesting question. Yeah, so, but we're going to switch to using Bennett instead here. And we're going to put a Pyro Goblin on him. On her. Him. I'm going to look at voices in a second. The question is, with a Pyro Goblin and Keqing, do I... Because the idea is, right, we could just... I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. It's really weird. I'm sorry. With a Pyro Goblin and Keqing, we're turning her into like a bad, weird Arlecchino that also is still doing electro damage. I don't know. It's weird. Like, I don't know. Is this better? Like, is this better, or is Xiangling better here? Right? I think Xiangling might be better. Maybe. I don't know. We're gonna try it with Fischl, because I'm more interested in playing with Fischl first. But of course now we're gonna be, you know, Bennett circle impacting and whatever. So we'll see. I mean, I'm just curious because, you know, this is more the shenanigans I wanted to try. The other team is just, yep, Chevrolet can work. It can be a Chevrolet team. So we're gonna try. Yeah, I wanna. What 4-star before Chevrolet that wasn't a 1.0 4-star was released? That's the most relevant. I just reversed the. Okay, so obviously Chevrolet, right? And then we have you. It might be Hero. At least I don't know. I really wish if her C4 was in her base kit, I would probably solidly say Kirara. But the fact that her C4 isn't in her base kit, it probably makes it Yaoyo instead, particularly because of the Farina context and like Yaoyo being like really good. Yaoyo's healing is ridiculous, especially on an invested build. Like how fast she can heal, and the total amount she can heal is ridiculous. You could also make an argument for Kuki, being that, you know, Kuki is, you know, Hyper Bloom, right? Sucrose is one. Yeah, Sucrose is 1.0. So, yep. I'd say it's either between Kuki, Yaoyo, or Kirara, but realistically, on a completely objective standpoint, not just my personal enjoyment of how they designed the kit, it's Kuki or Yaoyo. With constellations, it's Farazan. That's fair. Yeah. I do agree with that. With constellations, it's Farazan. We're gonna do some other infusion shenanigans, by the way. With Keqing here, notably with Candace, because how can I not? Which we might. I guess we'll probably bring Dendro. I was gonna mostly avoid Dendro this stream, but you know we can't properly judge Keqing here at all, really, for damage potential with Dendro. But we can see if things work. But I don't know what happens if we layer like all the shenanigans. What happens if we do something like let's simulate. We don't have Emilie right now, obviously, but what if we do something like not right now? I gotta change the build for this. But if we do like all the do double infusion, do Candace and Bennett, which I think Candace is gonna override Bennett most of the time. So you know, Electro infusion from her skill, Hydro infusion from Candace, Pyro infusion from Bennett, and then we throw in Nahida for Dendro, and mostly to simulate like having some burning going on, and whatever. So that I would prefer like trying with Emilie if we had Emilie, but that's 2 days away. So you know, something like this team we'll try just to see how it functions. But we won't be able to properly judge the damage because Keqing would really need to be level 90 in that team. So anyways, let's just try. We'll do the same team here. But let's just try. Did I even Raiden burst, by the way? Like Raiden does have the ability to burst and get meaningful damage in this team. I don't even think I did. Anyways, what was I doing? Having a stroke. Oh yeah, duh. We're doing this team. Where's the last character? Shivers. Yeah, she's the last one. There we go. There we go. Avatar Keqing, exactly. Burst spam Keqing. I mean, you can't really. I don't know. What's her cooldown? I think it's like 15 seconds. Tried Al-Haytham and Keqing in the same team. I mean, you could potentially make it work. I wouldn't recommend it. Based on my experience of trying to do quick swap Al-Haytham, I wouldn't recommend anything other than Al-Haytham's recommended teams personally, which is unfortunate, but oh well. Okay, what do we do? I guess we do this first. We do this. This. I have double Noblesse users on the team here, which is not ideal. Oh, I was in the air by accident. Whoops. 13k. Nice. Official's not going. I know we put a Pyro Goblin on Zon, so it's like some people are gonna be like, well, of course this is a lot of words. You put a Pyro Goblin on her. The bigger issue, honestly, was losing Official, and Official's not ideal against these things right here. Let me try not going to the left side so that Official's at least in the middle and can target some different things, maybe. Yeah, do something like this. Do this. And then try something like this, and then this. It's a 12-second cooldown on fish or on Keqing's burst. Interesting. That That either means try to do as short rotations as possible with Bennett. Oh my god, stop. Or well, I can definitely say this feels worse. Why are you using her E 2 times instead of doing a charge attack? Because there's no way to do a second time. What are you talking about? What, no way to do a second time. What do you mean, why are you using? I only used her in almost every instance I've been using her. I was trying to use her E a second time once there to try to like kill the last Dorito and like whatever. Like, you don't always want to start a full rotation if that's what you're analyzing. I haven't been using her E 2 times every single time here. Like, I'm messing around slightly with different things to see how it goes. That's what we're doing. I didn't burst. Oops. Actually, wait. I have Bennett on the bus. I don't have to burst in this. Okay, that. Should factor that in. I have Bennett here on the bus. I do not need to burst on. I do not need to burst on. Chivalrous. You're placing the E and teleporting is not ideal. I mean, I get a meaningful amount of damage from that. I guess like, in this team maybe it's not because of the pyro build. But can you line up? Like I want to. There we go. Okay. What is my brain? What is my brain? So. You do a charge attack while her E is on field, it explodes. Ew. Oh. See, I didn't realize that. I didn't read that much on Keqing before. That's what you should have started with, though. Oh my god, brain. Can I stop getting interrupted? I don't think it's gonna meaningfully, crazily change this team, I don't, but okay. Oh wait, you know what? The reason to use your burst still is to make sure we trigger overload. The reason to use our burst still is actually to make sure we trigger the first overload. After that, we don't need to use Shiver's burst again. Because of the fact that it's redundant for the bless buff. So let's try doing this properly. There we go. I forgot to burst. Brain. My brain is failing. Okay. My brain is just failing. You're gonna do aggravate? I mean, I can't properly judge anything with aggravate Keqing when she's not level 90. I will do some shenanigans though with other infusions, as I just mentioned a second ago. Yeah, I don't think that was that really doing a charge attack there versus 2Es. I don't think was affecting anything meaningful. Well, I don't think we really need to take this to Kinky. It's obviously just worse in general. We could try Yai here instead of Chivalrous. Right. Like I'd say Pyro Keqing. Probably not better. Once she is like particularly higher level talents for this team, but if she was fully leveled and fully ascended, I think like I wouldn't have crazy issues doing this. But it's not really worthwhile to do. It is the main conclusion. Chivalrous is useless here. What are you on? What? Yeah, do you know what Chivalrous kit does? And we were comparing specifically to the other like I was did you come into a stream that has Genshin shenanigans in the title and expect me to be doing typical Keqing things? I don't know what to tell you. Like I was comparing Shiver's team to a different goofy variation of Shiver's team by doing something silly like utilizing C6 Bennett and the fact that C6 already, like, Keqing gives her some electro damage bonus, like trying to do something with C6 Keqing that's maybe kind of interesting. The idea of doing a weird, janky hybrid Keqing, and I don't know. I think it's worth checking that team though with Xiangling instead of Fischl here. We'll do Candace with Keqing in a second. So let's check with Xiangling quick though. It might be a bit better for this because of, you know, AoE damage from shuttling versus official's slight weirdness. What am I? The shivers you shuttling. So this is basically exactly the same team as I was using before, except not using Keqing as an Electro unit. Other than that, like, this is using Keqing as a Pyro unit, except she is still doing some Electro things. It's yeah. I don't know. I think you need Hydro Kokomi. What? You want me to put Kokomi in this team? Like, sure. If you want to just, yeah, sure. Play whatever teams you want, dude. It's not what I'm doing here. Literally not the point of what I'm comparing here.
Teamwork is dreamwork.
I didn't. Oh, okay. So one awkward thing actually. I need to. You need to get Shivers buff. My brain is not functioning for playing properly today. You need to get Shivers buff before. And doing that is a little annoying. How do I do that? Will Keqing, you know what I can do? I can do a Keqing E to start to get Electro on the enemies. Keqing E by the time the burst is done will probably be back. Right. So I can start the rotation with Keqing E. Right. I can do this. Oh. Okay, but that only applies. Let me test here. If I do this. Okay, that applies Electro and an AoE. Okay, so we're gonna do. Okay, this is jank. This is jank. Okay, I don't want to burst first because I want to burst after I'm in Bennett ult. Just to start the overload though for hold E on Chevrolet's buff. I think I need to do this, do that, get the pyro, and do this. God dang it! Frick. Okay. Well, other than them being bad. Okay. Well. Yep. Shungling is quite a bit better here. That is what we learned. Yeah. I didn't. I did that wrong. Don't worry about it. Why is this so much better? Frickin' Shungling. Ah. Okay. What am I doing? You. Don't pounce at me. Nobody likes that. Okay. Well, Shungling has more energy problems for some reason right now. Just great. Oh, I'm doing physical damage. Just glancing at chat. Man, Keqing's rotations are weird. I feel like Keqing is a character I'm gonna have to get more used to playing. That's my current feeling. I don't know. It still is, I think, worse than the Electro Keqing variation. Where I did, the same team but Keqing on an Electro build. Without Bennett, I think is what I was doing. Wait, did I use Bennett? I don't remember. You can go back and watch the footage, whatever I did. I'm pretty sure that was worse, but not. It was better. Doing this was better than doing Keqing on the Pyro Goblet without shuttling. But I don't know. Anywho's, can't say I recommend Pyro Keqing in an overload, in a Chevrolet overload team, which is what we were actually doing there. So let's try Hydro. Not Hydro Keqing specifically. Like, one, because I don't think I have good enough Hydro goblets to make it that worth. I mean, this is not bad, but I think we'll do like an attack percent goblet. Which I think, yeah, we'll try this one. So we're gonna try an attack percent goblet, and Yeah, a little, still not great, but whatever. The idea here is mostly to, again, the ideal would be, this is definitely going to be a team where you'd want Keqing to be level 90. 100%, so this is not going to be a proper test or anything. This is mostly going to be see what things are happening, though. And in this case, I guess the lack of level 90 on my Keqing can be made up for slightly by the fact that I have C2 Nahida. So pseudo level 90 Keqing, I guess. I don't know exactly which would be better off the top of my head. It actually might be pretty close, but anyways, we're gonna do Nahida, and like I think this is a team where like Emilie could potentially make sense over Nahida. Not necessarily be better, but could make sense. It could be fun, right? We're trying shenanigans. Candace, and then Bennett. So this is yeah, this is gonna be weird. Candace is on E instructors. That's hopefully fine. If I need to, I'll give her more ER. Yeah, I know she's a little bit overcapped on crit rate. It's fine. Just jade cutter things. I should have gone over here to let them group each other while I bursted. But I'm bad. Okay. I think my brain is just not working correctly for testing mode today. Really? Well, what's interesting there is after we lost Dendro, or lost, not lost Dendro, lost the Electro, we started getting some virgins. Yeah, that's what I thought. So yeah, I was correct that Candace overrides. Candace overrides, or yeah, after we lose the Hydro infusion, we get the Pyro infusion, right? And then we start doing virgins, which I think is funny. Yeah, I don't know. That's very funny. I kind of like this, actually. Yeah, this. Yeah, I have no idea if Emilie would be meaningfully better here. Not triggering the, like, there is an issue, obviously, and it's not obvious, of like regenerating bloom cores and doing nothing with them. So you know, the Hydro infusion isn't actually doing that much for us. So I don't think Candace actually makes sense here. Like that, right? But an interesting thing happens that is kind of satisfying with the explosion of the Dendro cores. Right? I don't know. I think it's kind of fun. Who knew Dendro was fun when you start doing Dendro shenanigans? Crazy idea. Yeah, and this is like, you can't properly, this is not like meant to be compared to anything, because like, well, I don't know. Can you compare this to, with I don't know, I'm not gonna do the math, but C2 Nahida might be doing enough here to technically make up for the Keqing not being C6, or Keqing not being level 90. Yeah, so like the problem with doing the Hydro infusion there basically is the main thing that can be valuable about the Hydro infusion is doing something like generating extra like Dendro cores. But then if you have a Hydro infusion, you're not doing Electro to be able to trigger like Hyper Bloom on the cores. So what are the cores doing for you when they're just piling up? Well, you get some front-loaded damage when you trigger Burgeons on them, is probably the most notable thing. Or when you trigger Hyper Bloom initially with her first like burst cast or her skill cast. So there is, I don't know, there's some fun shenanigans there. I do intend to level Keqing up more in the future, and that might be a potential team I do more with, just because like I don't know. The sequence of switching between the different reactions happening there is kind of fun. And like going from doing some electro things to now we're doing hydro. Oh, now we're doing pyro and we're triggering Burgeon is really funny, I think. And this is I'm gonna leave this here as a template team, I think, because I think this will be another one to see how it changes with Emilie, because notably Emilie is gonna be less Dendro application but more personal damage output. But being that we're not necessarily doing that much with the additional Dendro core generation, it's not that valuable. So I don't. Candace isn't necessarily doing that much here. It's just a fun shenanigans thing to try. That's really kind of all it is. It was fun with the layers of shenanigans. I woke up really early, by the way, and then I ate some food, and then I ate more food before the stream, and for some reason my stomach is growling. I never get hungry this time of the day normally. What is wrong with my stomach? Please stop. I hate being hungry. Anyways, what other shenanigans should we try? We can do more Hydra things, I guess, if you guys want, but yeah, Burgeon Bomb Team, I guess. Yeah, probably a good way to describe it. That was interesting, and that was definitely a showcase of like how Candace can have a significant amount of front-loaded Hydra application, and that's part of the reason I think like there's some potential for goofiness with Emilie on-fielding with Candace and trying to vape on Emilie's like normal charge attacks, do forward vapes with the Pyro application. But notably, I do think Emilie on-fielded with Bennett. Emilie on-fielded with Bennett Candace probably needs another off-field Pyro, which is annoying. I wonder if you can Dehya. You think that'll work? You think I can make Dehya Bennett Dehya Bennett Emilie Candace work? Get some interruption resistance. Get the off-field Pyro to keep the burning engine going. I refuse to do Shungling. I could do Toma, but I don't want to level Toma. I don't know. And like it has flexibility for like getting Hydro if need be. I don't know. There's some goofiness to it. I'll be messing around with that. So you know that'll be future stream things, I think. Opinion on Chlorand. I talked about this at the beginning of the stream. Electro on-fielders that aren't Keqing suffer from the fact that Keqing exists, because Keqing does enough of what Electro does well, that there's not a ton of need for other Electro on-fielders. But also vice versa, the fact that like I like playing Sethos a lot means there's not actually a lot of reason for me to spend a bunch of resources leveling Keqing. Like it's not actually worth the resources. I don't think I'll, even if I enjoy playing some Keqing teams like this weirdo team, I'm probably not gonna play it so often that I prefer to play her over Sethos for what I enjoy about Sethos, right? What about Shungyun? So the problem is Cryo doesn't do anything. Like, what is Cryo application, or what is it giving Keqing like a Cryo? Also, I have no idea. How does this work with Bennett? Pyro seems to be priority. Okay, so Bennett overrides. Okay. Okay. I mean, there's some goofiness there, wherein, like, you could plop a Bennett circle here, plop a Chungus here, and, like, purposely switch between the different circles. Purposely switch between the different infusions. Get Cryo, get Pyro. But, like, whereas, like, Pyro you can use to trigger Burgeons, you know, overloads. It was for Chevre's team. What does Cryo do? Right. That's why I have mixed feelings with Chlorand. Yeah, like Chlorand's all flashy. Like she can be one of the best visual drivers in the game, but it's also like, yeah. So, anyways, and it's fine for like characters just to be in a. I think it's fine for characters to be balanced in a state of like you can easily get some amount of value from them, but they're not necessarily that unique in what they do. So it means we don't want them to constantly release characters that we always need to feel the need to pull for. Just it would just be nice if they did a little bit more to differentiate Chlorand, I feel like, from other Electro on-fielders. Yeah, I guess we should check. I'm assuming because Candace overrides Bennett C6, she's gonna override Chungus. Although there is a fun thing that happens in case you haven't seen this. Look at the weapon. The weapon gets frozen. Yeah, we're doing Hydro. So man, if like Chungyun had like Rosaria burst on him instead of his burst, he'd be a much more interesting character, right? Yeah, the weapon getting weapons can have reactions on them. This is why I want a Dendro infuser, because to be clear, if they ever do a unit that does external Dendro infusion, they're gonna make it work in a way that it doesn't constantly trigger Bloom. But like if you do a Hydro infusion on a weapon and then you do a Dendro infusion on a weapon, so you know if there was a Dendro Chungyun, that would create a Bloom reaction on the weapon. You could create a Bloom core from the weapon itself. Burning weapons, yeah, yeah, exactly. Burning weapons would be really weird. What would that even do? I don't know. It'd be funny. You could just like have Dendro infusion, have Pyro infusion happening from Bennett, and then, you know, just stand near enemies and they take small ticks of burning. I don't know. It'd be so weird and goofy, but I'd love I want them to do it. Do it, Mahoya. Yeah, if it made enemies freeze, that would be funny. So yeah, Chungus suffers from his kit doesn't do enough on top of what is Cryo Infusion to make it worthwhile to do his Cryo Infusion on anyone basically other than himself. Yeah, so I don't know. If anyone has any ideas for something to do with it that is relevant, like yeah, you could do freeze. Obviously, I could just do freeze Keqing, but like realistically, the like if you're doing Electro and you're doing Cryo, well, that's superconduct. It's physical. So, you know, you can do physical Keqing. Unironically, you can do, like, Aquila is not a terrible stat stick for Keqing. So you could do something goofy, I guess. I don't know. Let's embrace it a little bit here. Let's do that. And then let's do Electro Goblet again. All right. So 2-piece attack, but Electro Goblet, physical damage bonus weapon. I forgot this is not a crit weapon. Yoink, this from Arlecchino. Yeah, it looks so much worse, but that's what we're doing. Okay, let's embrace it a little bit here. Let's do hybrid physical. Let's embrace the Chungus. Hybrid physical, cryo. And physical's not great. I'm sorry. Why wasn't Mika like a Farzan tier unit for physical? I don't get it. Like I feel like Mahoya thought that's what they were doing, and then they just utterly failed at that. Shenha, maybe. Yeah. Wish I had Shenha. I'd do it. I don't know. Behold the princess. And then why official? Because I figure we're triggering some electro reactions. May as well get some electro damage. And then Nahida to actually no. You know what? Frick it. Normal attack damage. Yunjin.
Show on the road.
Let's do it indeed. I hope you have enough ER. You know what? I don't even want to equip you, to be completely honest. You'll be fine just pressing E, right? You're not gonna die. He just needs to press E. It's fine. It's fine. Chevrolet for superconducting? Yeah, true. See? Yeah, maybe sit lolly. Maybe we can jump on the hopium train. Sit lolly is physical Chevrolet. I'd be very down. I'm skeptical though, but I'd be down. No Chung Yun really do physical cryo damage, not physical. Oh yeah, you're right. Well, the idea was, frick. See, this is the problem. My dumb arse was like, like we're getting off-field cryo by using the infusion, but you're correct. We're not getting physical damage if we're using the infusion. See why? see, this is the problem with Chunkin, right? You're like, oh, you have an interesting idea for a second. You're wait, there's a flaw. Nahida on a cryo team would go nuts. I mean, yeah, Nahida would be better here, especially with C2 Nahida. Yeah, I don't know. It's like only freeze, and it's just like, yeah. I mean, you can do freeze. Like you can do.
My magnificence!
Like, this will probably be fine, honestly. Use Kaya then? That's kind of, yeah, exactly. Exactly. I do have Rosaria. We could do Rosaria. But like, I'm trying to do something with the cryo. But, you know, I don't remember what the uptime on superconduct is, by the way. Also, healer. You know, you don't technically need a healer if you kill everything in the first rotation. So, see, like this makes more sense, right, than doing, like, we could do electro charge. This will probably work fine, actually. So let's compare though, right? This is the problem with Chungi. Farina is your healer. True. We just alternate. Oh god. Oh god. Also, Farina right now is on not enough ER, I think, for... Well, it doesn't matter. Whatever. Like, I can't say that... I mean, it's not horrible. It functions. Now that we don't have damage bonus going, I think it might be slightly worse. I like how you immediately got on both, bro. It's just Fischl and Farina doing the work, by the way. This is just Farina and Fischl. It looks kind of pretty. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. Look at this cryo damage. My Farina apparently has enough ER for solo Hydra. Or I'm just playing that badly, and I'm accidentally extending my rotations and just having enough ER by extending the rotation. That happens too. Like, that's something that, like, when I see people say they have enough ER for, like, you know, I use Farina solo Hydra with 150 ER and I always get my burst back. I'm just like, sure. Oh. No, you don't. You're unfortunately, I hate to say it, but like you're kind of not really getting, you know, the most out of your characters. If you like you know, you feel like you're getting your burst back, but it's because you're probably doing like a 30-second rotation. And like if you're doing a 30-second rotation, you're like halving your damage. So yeah. Anywho's, like I think it's just people not noticing how bad they are. But I don't tell people this because it's not like constructive feedback to just be like, yeah, the 150 ER is not enough. It's just like a problem of like people are like, my ER is enough for my Farina. I use her solo Hydra with 150 ER, and then she's fine. She gets her burst back. And you know, like I don't like there's probably some teams where, well, is there teams where she is solo Hydro that she can get her burst back with 150 ER in a normal rotation, 20-second rotation time? Yeah, you always have your burst if your rotation's 2 minutes long. Like, I don't know. It's like, it's not constructed of like someone's like, what are the ER needs on characters? And they're like, oh, you probably need more ER than that on Farina with solo Hydra. And then they're just like, I'll use Free Soul Hydro with this, and then she gets her burst back. I'm just like, okay, if you get your burst back, fine, you know, you do you. That's all I really say. Yeah, let's do like actual taser things. So, you know, doing... Well, we'll do not, you know, just double Electro, double... This would be a team that would be better, by the way, for the second half, but I don't feel like doing the second half. This is basically, this is the same exact team I did, but with, you know, it's the same exact team I did in my Arlecchino video, but with Keqing instead of Sethos, right? Like, I know this team would work fine. And potentially better in some ways than with Sethos. So, you know,
Reveal thyself. Nowhere to hide. Don't blink.
also, she's still in the physical build, or the physical weapon, so, you know, keep that in mind, but, yep, wow, it works. It basically worked exactly the same. I wonder why. Well, probably, actually, I think that worked better, but that's because, you know, Siege Queen buffing Farina and Fischl. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just a struggle trying to get Chongyun to do relevant things mechanically, because Cryo is not that relevant, and Chongyun, his Chongyun's kit itself does not do enough on top of his infusion to, like, justify a team slot. So, yep, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I wish there was something fun to do with Chongyun, because I love infusions. But I just Cryo and his kit. He's a bit undercooked. Like, I've said it before, where I think the thing that would have made... There's like, many things you could have done to, like, make Shenhe's kit perfect. I think one of the things they could have... And I know this would have just basically completely made Chongyun irrelevant, but... Like, one of the most fun things they could have done to make Shenhe a super fun, interesting character... Give her a Cryo. Like, give her, like, whenever... Give her Chongyun's infusion gimmick. Like, Shenhe's exact kit, but Shenhe makes melee units deal Cryo damage. Instantly a vastly more interesting and useful character. But anyways, actually be problematic in some ways, because it would make you use up stacks of Shenhe's buff quicker. So they'd have to rework that a little bit. Like, they'd have to put some aspect of, like, Shenhe's C6 in base kit. But anyway, it's not like Shenhe would be a broken character, is my point. With a cryo infusion ability, but it'd make her more useful because Shenhe would be doing things on top of the cryo infusion, right? That's the problem. So, anywho's, yep, yeah. I mean, anyway, I don't consider taser things to be that unconventional with Keqing. It's again again same problem. Like, the places where I can think I use Keqing, I'd like kind of like to just use Sethos instead. So the what we've tried the most, what I like the most so far of what we tried is definitely the Candace, the goofiness with Candace Bennett. Like, is goofy, is probably not ideal by any means. I'm very curious how well this would work with her level 90 and Emilie instead of Nahida. C6 Shenhe Chongyun combo. Is that fun? I mean, yeah, but that's a 2-unit combo, and that's like a lot worse than if, like, she had infusion herself, right? Like, imagine C6 Shenhe, but she just did the infusion herself without needing Chongyun. How many more team options you could have? So yeah, they would probably have to rework Shenhe's kit minorly if she had an infusion, to be clear, but. It's just one of those things on an idea level. I think she becomes an interesting character, and cryo infusion becomes interesting if, you know, the character is buffing cryo on top of giving infusion, kind of thing, right? That's all it really is, as a baseline idea. So I don't know. Any ideas other than this? Anyone has that I want I want to try? I'm losing my voice. Good lord. Lynette infusions. List of things that have happened since Shenhe's last rerun. Wuthering Waves was released. ZZZ was released. There's probably going to be a new president elected in the United States before Shenhe reruns. I'm not going to assume Shenhe's going to rerun before this year, the end of this year. Maybe that's why Shenhe isn't rerun. Maybe Shenhe's running for the United States presidential race. Shenhe doesn't have time to rerun on the Genshin banner because she's busy running for president. Get it? So Luna for president? I'm not old enough. You have to be 34. I don't know if Shenhe's old enough, I guess. But yeah. Anywho's, I don't know if Shenhe would be a good president. She has a little bit of slightly overly high murdery tendencies and doesn't understand people well enough, I think, to necessarily be a good president. But at the same time, she probably wouldn't be the worst. 2 games have been released since Shenhe's rerun. I mean, two notable gacha games. I think a lot more than 2 games have been released. Did you do theater with the poem only account? I did the middle difficulty one. The highest difficulty one, it's just going to require so much wasted resources just to even attempt it. I think it might be doable. Based on the fact that I was able to clear, especially with Emilie being one of the selected characters. Whatever bonus characters that you can select. But, God, my throat, man. Hopefully my throat is fine Tuesday. I felt slightly under the weather like yesterday, but I didn't have a sore throat. I hope I'm not becoming sick. That would be non-ideal because I got a lot of crap to work on this week. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any other ideas right now to do with Keqing other than this. This team is fun. I do like this team. So I gotta switch back. Wonder. Oh my God, what is happening? Oh, I don't know if you heard that, but I went away from the microphone. I've got just phlegm building in my throat. I can feel it. It's horrible. I should probably stop streaming because my voice is dying. Oh my God, what is happening? Can you hear this? Hello. Anywho's. This. Oh, Bennett was on Jade Cutter. Oops. I don't think I was using him while he was on Jade Cutter though. Oh my God, like my voice is just actually evaporating real time. You just want albedo. I'm pissed off. You have pity in the Chronicle banner. It's just locked away. What is happening to my voice? Good Lord, it's still dead. Okay. I just like got sick real time or something. I've been trying to drink water. Be mute for the rest of the stream, maybe. Yeah. Tea plus honey. Yeah, might be a good idea. I'll have to check what I have for tea. Anywho's. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is the one that this team with Emilie in particular is something I'll probably test. I don't think I'm gonna invest a ton of more resources until maybe after I test around with Emilie with a bunch of different teams. I'll see if I really want to do, because like again, like I don't know. The interesting thing is like the infusion, because like this is a use case, right, wherein I can't just use Sethos here, or like if we do Emilie, Bennett, Candace, right? If I do Sethos here, well, Sethos doesn't get the Hydro infusion, so like why are you using Candace? Right, trying to do something useful with Candace. Same thing with Raiden, right? So Keqing can actually have some unique value here because of the fact that her infusion, she can get the Hydro infusion, right? Is it something you should do? No, but it's, I think, interesting. And it plays in a weird, fun way that I think might be fun, especially with Emilie's release. I don't normally have that many voice problems talking for hours, to be clear. It's, like I said, it might be I'm getting sick, and I hope I'm not. I hope this is just a minor thing of buildup of crap in my throat, not my existence is deteriorating this week, because that would make it really, really annoying to make some Emilie content this week. It'd be bad timing to get sick, to say the least. And also, I want to like record a whole bunch of account fixing stuff this week. it's gonna be a busy week for me, and it's gonna be a miserable week if I get sick. So, sick because of lack of Emily. True. So yeah, I don't know. This one is the highest potential. Not necessarily with this build, I should say. Like, this is a build that I don't know. Do I? Do? No, I think you do. Yeah. So like, let's try quick. You want some of my set those pieces. Let's try a 4-piece TF build, right? Only problem is I don't think. Oh, let's see what it looks like. Wait, that's a crit rate. No, not that. Yeah, I mean, okay. Same situation as before. We're overcapped on crit. So again, theoretically, this at level 90 would be better here, but it's not enough of a difference to be majorly problematic. So a lot less attack, of course, but being that you're doing Dendro reaction things, TF, you know, and the idea is, even though we're having our infusion overridden with Candace, we can get an additional skill out to potentially mitigate that issue wherein we had a whole bunch of cores generating. My thinking is we'll generate some cores and then we'll have the skill cooldown back to be able to then use her skill again to trigger the cores. That's my thinking. Let's go check that real quick. See if it's like noticeably different as far as like the core pileup issue. That's basically what I'm thinking here. So this is a very typical Keqing build, right? But just doing an unconventional team, which I think is fine. I still classify this as shenanigans, well and proper. I feel like I always tend up going down the path of rainbow teams nowadays. All the reactions. Yes, Candace all overrides C6 Bennett. I probably should have skilled before that, right? Let me try doing skill then burst. I want to see what happens. Lava Walker Keqing. That would be funny. I definitely don't have the artifacts for it. I didn't. My brain. I didn't skill into burst. I literally said I wanted to skill into burst to see what happens. Like as far as what's her cooldown look like if I skill into burst. Because again, the idea with the TF here is to get a little bit of additional Electro to be able to trigger those. I didn't do it again! Good lord, brain. It's a 94 long page Google Doc of things that have happened since Shenhe's last rerun. Good lord. Stop. I've not even played this character any meaningful amount of time, and I've already coded in my brain a hardcore habit of just switch, use burst. What is wrong with my brain? I haven't read anything that told me to do this. It's just my brain being dumb and making a habit before I've even had time to make habits, and like I didn't use Candace. Like I would like you to function at least once here, brain. Need to see what the cooldown looks like. I don't know how to explain this. Like other than like my brain's like, okay, switch, use the abilities, use this, and then like I switched to Keqing and my brain's like alt. Okay, I can do this. I can do this. I can handle this very complicated task. This is why public education has failed me. But there, I did it. Alright, what's the skill cooldown look like? Oh. Wait, what? I'm confused. Oh, okay. So one thing I'm not... Does she go on cooldown if you don't use her second E? Yeah, it does. Okay, okay. So her skill was just back. That's what happened there. Okay, cool. Nice. Yeah, muscle memory, but like how did my brain do that muscle memory? And like my brain, don't do muscle memory that fast. It's inconvenient. That's all. Alright, and then you can do some of that, and then you can do that again to get more hyper blooms. Yeah, I think it works, right? And then you eventually switch to... Oh, I didn't get any pyro there because I went out of the Bennett circle. But yeah, it was instantly back. TF, go burr. Or it was back like when I needed it. So it actually works. It's interesting. Wrong character. And we do some hydro, and then do that, right? Like, it works. It actually works. It helps prevent... Wow. That's super cool, right? Is that not super cool? It helps prevent the core pileup issue. Skill burst, skill recast. Yeah, I figured that was kind of standard. That's what I was kind of checking. Like, it's not that that's not standard. What's interesting here is that that TF doing that solves this issue of the core pileup issue, I think. Not necessarily solves, I should say, but makes it not nearly as much of a problem, right? Alright, because we do some that, and then we do that, we can trigger more cores. And then we get pyro, we can do some virgins, right? Like, there's not much pileup. Oh yeah, TF is absolutely the shenanigans set. I should have more of it. The reason I like haven't farmed a crazy amount of it, like I'd farmed a good amount of it, obviously. But the reason I haven't farmed an insane amount of it is just because like it hasn't been that useful enough to me to be able like, I need to have a ton of options. Only until recently have I had like a character Sethos where I wanted to leave him on 4-piece TF. So try using the charge attack version. Oh yeah, true. True. I forgot. I don't know why I'm just standing over there. Why does Selena use Candace so much? I mean, in this instance, it's because we're doing infusion shenanigans. We're trying to, we're going on the idea of, you know, okay, if we're gonna overwrite, if Keqing's infusion is gonna get overwritten by somebody, can we do something with the infusion? I don't know why I'm walking that far away. I don't think I need to do that. No. No, let's not forget I just forgot the skill there. That's my bad. Okay. I don't know if we just got... I think that might have just been unluckiness with grouping there. Let's try again. As far as... So, like, I wouldn't... my point with that, with saying unluckiness with grouping there is, like, don't necessarily compare that much, like, the... how quickly we kill the Doritos or not. That's so interesting. I don't know. I find this really fun, and particularly like in this instance, right? I wonder. I don't know. Emilie will be really interesting to test here as well. The problem with Emilie here is that we're not gonna have any off-field pyro, so like I don't know if Emilie's gonna work very well here realistically, which is a little unfortunate because you want some amount of off-field pyro going on. I think why did I stand so far away again? You want some amount of off-field pyro going on at least every 8 seconds to make sure she doesn't drop to her low multiplier version of her skill. So the question is like, I don't know, you might... Ow, god dang it, okay. The question is like, by the time we run out of Candace infusion and then start doing pyronormal attacks, will that be less than 8 seconds from when burning can happen than the previous, from when burning last happened, such that we don't lose the high multiplier version of Emilie's skill? I'm skeptical in this team. Now that I'm thinking about it more. Have you used Kirara yet? I mean, Kirara can be a good support, particularly with C4. I think with the normal Keqing build. I didn't skill. Oops. I don't know. Interesting. I don't know. I'll mess with this team for sure with Emilie. I'm skeptical of Emilie in this team, because of the. You know, if you're doing C6 Bennett can absolutely be enough off-field pyro for Emilie, but we're not doing C6 Bennett here. Candace is overriding C6 Bennett, right? So that's kind of the question mark here. Interesting. In the concept, you're generating more blooms when charge attacking. Yeah, I know. I understand. The thing is, I don't know that's actually that relevant. Because of when we're actually triggering. Like generating more blooms doesn't matter if it depends. Like in that situation, it kind of does potentially matter because the blooms might target different enemies. Particularly with how the enemies are spread out in a way that should make them target different enemies. But in like a single target situation, generating more than 2 blooms to trigger doesn't matter. With like the one instance of Keqing skill usage or whatever. But anyways, it's really interesting. This was better than I thought. Doing the goofiness of Bennett and Candace together was more interesting than I thought. It's mostly just utilizing Candace, and like you can almost assuredly achieve a very similar result using other Hydra units. I want to emphasize. But the interesting thing is, right, if we're using Bennett in this team, you don't get the virgins. Or not using Bennett, you don't get the virgins. So, it's goofy. It's goofy. There's an additional layer of transformer reactions going on here, but you're still doing normal Keqing things. But I don't know. It's very goofy. This I want to work on more. This is actually motivating me to make me really want to fully get Keqing to 90. But I'm gonna be smart. I'm gonna wait until after Emilie. I'm gonna try to build up resources before 5.0, and then have no resources for 5.0. Okay, speaking of, you know what that means? That means I should use this wish. No, that means I should go use my condensed resin on Heroes Wits, because I don't know. When am I ever gonna have time to? When am I ever gonna have time to farm the freaking new artifacts? I'm gonna be farming Heroes Wits till the end of time. I need more Heroes Wits, Moho, please. If they would just let me like spend $10 to like buy here like 100 Heroes Wits, I would do it. But instead they're like, no, $10 gets you, what is it? Actually, I think it's more than $10. Yeah, it's 980. What is that? 980 is, no, it is $10. No, it's $15. So it's $15 gets you freaking, where can I have less than, where was it? Here. $15 dues gets you 1 fragile resin, a tiny bit of XP, a tiny bit of Mora, weapon XP, and then 50 Heroes Wits. Like what? What? Like if you resin refresh this resin away, like let's say you did like 2 resin, like this is what's annoying now, is because like it's more. This is only here for the the people who do not want to like spend any time farming at all. Like it's just for the giga lazy. Like it's an absolute scam. Like what? Why don't you just make it so like I can buy like 200 Heroes Wits for $15? I don't get it. But anyways, like let's do the math. Like how many kind of $15 top up give you for resin refreshes, right? If you're, because this is like unironically, resin refreshing is stupid. It's cringe. Don't do it, in my opinion. I might have to do it, and realistically, as time goes on, just to be able to continue to level up more characters for my videos. But that's because I'm a content creator. I don't think any normal player has a good reason to do it. But for the sake of comparison, right, as far as like value of like how much of a scam this is, let's do the. I'm just gonna ignore the bonus for simplicity. 980 Genesis crystals. Let's say you're doing 2 resin refreshes a day. I believe that's 180 Prima Gems, right? Wait, no, it's 150. Sorry, because I think it's. I don't remember. I don't remember. Sylveon, you're the one that for some reason knows this. How much is 2 resin refreshes? 150? It is 150 from Nahim. Okay, thank you. So like, you know, assuming 2 a day, so not even being the most efficient you can be, right? Because the most efficient would be doing only 1 a day. Let's do 980 divided by 150 is 6.5 times, so 6.5 times 2, that is 13 fragile resins. So that's 13 times 60 is 784 resin equivalent. Divide that by 40 is about, it's 19.6, so we'll just say 20. It's about 20 runs in 20 condensed resin, right, into ley lines. And this gives you an average of, what is this? 9 of these and then 6 of these. So it gives you an average of what, like 11? Because four of these is, well, no, it's probably like an average of 10.5. We'll just say 10. So like times 10, right? So like you can get 200 heroes wits for $15, right? So because it's about 20 condensed resin, you get about 10 of these per on average, and 20 times 10 is 200. You get 200 heroes wits for $15 by doing 2 resin refreshes a day, and that's the inefficient way to do it, right? But like that's not even the most efficient use of it. If you are resin refreshing, versus this is like 50 in 1 fragile. Like what? And like, what? Yeah. 2 resin refreshes a day is sacrificing a wish to do 120 resin. But I don't know. Anywho's, not worth, to say the least. Not worth resin refreshing, and not worth buying that thing. It's just like so stupid. Why does that exist? Is really it is. So yeah, it would genuinely, like, I have a business reason to potentially pay them to just, you know, get the heroes wits. If I could pay $20 to be able to get the heroes wits and more I need to level up a character to 90, that would be nice. Like, it would be worth the time savings for me in that case. Instead, if I want to spend $20 to get the heroes wits and more to level 90, I have to resin refresh and spend a bunch of time farming these things. Like, why? Like, why do you have to go jump through these freaking hoops? It's so stupid. Stupid gacha game bullshit. And I'm completely coming from, like, the only reason resin refreshing could be worth it to me is from the content creator's perspective, right? Where I have more of an actual need on a business level, like, because I can, like, actually make money from spending money, right? Saving time. But they just do it in cringe ways. Whatever. Gotcha game thing. I recommend a somewhat new account, farm accounts, or more character XP. Depends on what kind of characters. It depends on how many characters you have acquired, you're interested in leveling up. Right. Like one of the important things when it comes to, like, gacha games and how annoying the grind is to level up characters is the factor of, you know, like the ratio of how often you're acquiring characters that you want to level versus the resources you need to level them. In Genshin, there's a relatively decent balance, I'd say, for the average player, particularly if you're buying, like, the Battle Pass, because the Battle Pass gives you a lot of the resources you need. But the Battle Pass is definitely one, and the game is definitely structured, like, for free-to-play players to make it so you probably feel like you don't have enough of those resources. For the average player, I suspect. But it still depends on how many characters you're actually interested in investing in and whatever. So, you know, it depends. If you're completely free to play, it's likely you will at least have to spend a little. If you're brand new, by the way, there's no reason not to. Like, when you first start, there's not much to use your resin on other than ley lines. So you may as well. Like, ley lines and early ascensions for bosses, of course. But yeah, in my case, I have too many characters, and I have a need to level more characters for, like, making videos. Where it can take me, you know, if I want to make 2 videos a week, but I want to level up 2 characters in a week. Let's say I want to make a Keqing video, and I also want to make an Emilie video. Well, does the game give me enough resources to make both a Keqing video and an Emilie video in the same week? No. Right. It doesn't. I don't even think it gives enough resources to do that in, like there's probably enough resources with buying the battle pass that I could do that in. I can do 2 characters a patch if I'm barely farming for artifacts, which is kind of the state I've been in for like the last month or 2 on my account. I've barely farmed artifacts. Like, to be clear, I think half of my resin's been spent on artifacts, but I've been leveling, I think, an average of at least 2 characters per patch, if not more than that. And buying the battle pass, right? Just because I need the leveling resources. So, yeah, you want C6 Keqing so badly as a main? I mean, it's fine. Like, this is a all of our constellations. C0 versus C6 is a 30% DPS upgrade. Meanwhile, the typical constellation one, you know, is like a 20% DPS upgrade for limited characters nowadays. Like just one constellation versus 6 copies of this character is a 30% upgrade. So, you know, when you think about C6 Mona, I think C6 Mona would have been more interesting to play around than C6 Keqing. The shenanigans I can do with the Keqing, I can do without any of her constellations, right? Whereas, like, there are, like, C6 Diluc is weird because it makes it so, like, his burst, right? This is such a weird constellation. It makes it so his burst doesn't interrupt his attack combo. That's so goofy. I'm sure there's something that you could do with that. And then, like, this is goofy as well, wherein, like, you spend time sprinting with Mona, and then it amplifies her charge attack damage. Like, what? And so if you sprint around for 3 seconds, you can get 180%, another 180% multiplier. I assume this is damage bonus, so it probably is. I don't think this is an independent damage bonus from your normal damage bonus, so I think this would add on top of whatever existing damage bonus you have. But, like, yeah, doing some goofy forward bait charge attack Mona after, like, running around under, like, it's just weird. Like this is the C6 Mona would be janky Mualani, basically. I don't know, like, it'd just be weird and fun to mess around with, because it just does something interesting that can change the way you might use the character. So as far as, like, standard character constellations, that's more interesting to me than just Keqing does slightly more damage. Wee. So, anywho's, yep. How much resin do I have? 2? Alright, let's go. I was considering, my throat seems to recover, by the way, which is nice, so hopefully it stays that way. I was considering doing this on stream, but I think I'm not going to do that. I think it's just go around to different locations in the world, take photos. I'll probably do that on my lone. Probably do that on my lone. Please let me. Okay. But I will go into poems only before I end the stream here. Huh? I pressed W. Okay, whatever. I think what I have. I tried to press E at the same time pressing W, and I think it took the walking input first, and then just walking slightly forward made me fall off the cliff. So. Anywho's, what server do you play in? You can tell by the UID. 6 means North America. Isn't Mualani janky herself? Potentially. I don't know. I haven't played her.
I see everything.
I'm not gonna say how janky a character feels to play before I play her. I suspect yes, but I don't know. Oh, I just ran into the weeds. Oh, why didn't you switch to targeting this? So, yeah, Mualani is probably going to be a character that people like, but is going to have pretty weirdly specific teams for her to feel good, is my suspicion. And, one of the units that might make her feel good is, weirdly, the unit coming out in 2 days. I wonder if it's a Quinky. Quinky being a weird way to say coincidence. Yeah, 6XX equals NA, 7 is EU, 8 is Asia. I think there's also... Isn't there one other one? I forgot what it... Well, there's actually like 2 other ones. There's also... internal. But... I thought there's one other one. All Nathlan characters will skip for you. I feel like if you skip every character, I don't know. Like, look, if you get enough enjoyment out of this game to be able to play it without pulling on characters for a very long period of time, it's usually an easier way to not get burnt out on the gotcha structures and whatever. For me, a large part of the engagement of this game long term is pulling for some. Why am I struggling so much? Like, I swear I was trying to press spacebar there. Whatever. Part of the value of like playing this game long term, a very large part of what keeps me engaged with Genshin long term is the new characters releasing. Okay, how can this character be used with all the existing characters in the game? So, I wouldn't be able to just ignore all Nathlan characters, and it'd be very weird for them not to have anything in Nathlan that is interesting enough for me to find worthwhile. Can you really?
I see everything.
Can I do this? Yeah, you can. Nice. Keqing aerial damage. Let's go. Well. Alright. But yeah. I'm pretty committed to leveling Keqing to 90 now, so I definitely just need to send my life into the hero's wits or leyline void. Feels bad buying the battle pass and having to farm as many leylands as I had to. Oh well. Oh well. I wanna start farming like other artifacts that are more artifacts again. I don't know, get more TF pieces, get more, golden troop pieces, so I have more options for my Yai. You can see I spent a couple, I think I spent 1 day in the Navia healing set domain. Because 1, getting the pieces for Navia wouldn't be bad since I have Navia now. And then 2, I want to be able to eventually have Chivalrous on this set. So, anywho's. Someone said to, get more TF. So you know what? Because we're probably going to do TF on Keqing, but I also might want to use Sethos at the same time. We need more TF. Wow, okay. We need more TF pieces. I like it immediately gave me a onset Electro Goblet. That could be good too. Yep. Okay. These are immediately some high potential pieces. What do I have for an EM? I already have that. Okay. I mean, to be clear, this new piece could be meaningfully better than either of these. Especially this one is kind of underwhelming. Wait. What did I get? Oh yeah, I got this. I don't really need feathers that badly. I think I mostly need new flowers, which I didn't get any. Yeah, but I did get a potential onset goblet. I already have 2 onset goblets, so I don't think this is relevant. Even though this could be a good goblet. As always, a reminder to evaluate your artifacts based on your existing artifacts. So like I have this piece, right? And this piece, which is a goofy piece that has, crit rate EM. It's a 0 dead stat piece with a whole bunch of decent rolls in different ways. This piece could be, an alternative to this, but it doesn't have EM. So I don't know. If it rolls 10% crit rate or higher, it's potentially worth it, so I'm not going to throw it away. But, Anywho's. Universe does want me to have more TF, but it didn't give me the pieces I needed. But that's fine. Oh wait, I also got that circlet. I actually did potentially need a new circlet. So, like if I'm using this on Keqing, I want another one for Sethos. So, let's see. This one could actually be more important than the other ones. Of course. Classic. Okay. Well, alright. I wanted to switch to polearms only. Also, you know what? Condense my resin quick. I'm not gonna use it because I don't feel like it. But let's go here. Shoop-a-doop. You do 300 of... Wait, what character are you talking about? You're talking about Raiden or Lisa? You do around 110k unbuffed and 350 to 400k with Sarah Shev Bennett. What character are you talking about? I assume Lisa... Or C2 Raiden. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Okay. Duh. Yes. Username Saluna. Sun plus Moon. Sol plus Luna. It's just a portmanteau. And why that? Because of my hobbyist, mostly hobbyist level interest in astronomy, and my enjoyment of eclipses as an intersection of a very cool astronomical event that also has a lot of like it's weird because like eclipses are a thing that I like on a thematic level so much because they're cool to see, they're cool to understand and think about on like a scientific rationality level, but then on an experiential level, after you actually see a total solar eclipse, I'm talking total solar eclipse is different from a partial solar eclipse. So if you saw, oh, I saw a solar eclipse and it was underwhelming, you didn't see a total solar eclipse. They like cause reactions in people, right? Like they're an emotional thing, and it's like this is one of those things like people across history like it's only relatively, but like across the entire humanity of history, humanity has existed for a while. So like as far as humanity's entire history goes, it's only relatively recently that we've understood why solar eclipses are a thing. Oh, sad. And so I think there's this beautiful intersection of like something that has like really nuanced meaning to humanity as far as like a thing of beauty or a thing of fear in humanity's history, right? Like what the F is this? Is this God's coming down to smite us? The sun was deleted from the sky. It's not astrology. I mean, to be clear, astrology is an emotional thing. Ascribing, you know, emotional meaning in some sense to astronomical things, but I am talking more on like an abstracted historical level of like what humans across history might have thought of solar eclipses. And I think the intersection of, even in the modern day, it being an event that's like very beautifully striking on like an artful level, on an emotional level, but also is something that you can understand on a scientific level and like why they happen. Like it's a mathematical event. It's a geometric coincidence of the sun and moon being approximately the same size in the sky, and it makes for something that's a beautiful spectacle. I don't know. It feels like like a wonderful intersection that's representative of what I like about humanity. And it's something we just coincidentally have the privilege of being able to witness. And so, yeah, I don't know. Like, it has personal meaning to me as, like, a symbol of what I like about humanity, right? And, like, about existence. As a human being who has the ability to think. It's kind of all it is. It's hard to explain. I don't know. Does it make sense? It's a weird intersection of, like, an emotionally interesting thing that's, like, interesting to think about how it's been relevant to humans that existed in the past and present, and intersects with like a line of rational thinking that is a way it's satisfying to me. I don't know. Nice. The solar eclipse happened on your birthday. Must have been cool, assuming you got to see the total one, especially. Not that it wouldn't be cool to happen in general on your birthday. If it's only greater than 95% once it starts to be impressive and incredible. Yes. Yeah. If you wanted to see a solar eclipse, make sure to see a total solar eclipse. A partial solar eclipse is like partial solar eclipse is cool in the geometric level and the math level. It's still cool there, but it loses the visual spectacle, most of the visual spectacle. Anywho's, let's go to poems only real quick. And end this stream, and hopefully not make myself sick this week. hopefully will not be on poems only very long, so that I can avoid anyone yelling at me for the this isn't Keqing. Not that like half the stream wasn't Keqing anyways. I already updated the title. It's fine. Blam. But yeah, like it makes me kind of sad. Like I tried to get my grandparents to try to plan a trip around seeing one, and my parents. Like it's quite likely my grandparents almost assuredly will never see one. There's not another total solar eclipse in North America, I think, for like 40 years. My grandparents will be dead. And they will never get to see that. And obviously it's something that I think has a lot of personal meaning to me as a symbol of what I think is beautiful about humanity and the way we can appreciate things that exist. And it makes me sad that my grandparents will never be able to see one. And it also makes me sad that I think my parents won't see one either. But I might have a chance to convince my parents to like go see one in Europe or something. Might. Anywho's, like you definitely have to. You have to be in a living situation where you're fortunate enough to have the privilege to be able to see one, or you would just have to get lucky to see one in your lifetime. But they're worth it, in my opinion. Don't plan an entire trip around seeing an eclipse, by the way, but just make it like part of your like vacation. What am I doing? Oh, I already condensed my resin before I logged in. That's why I was confused. Yeah. So, yep. Okay. No, YouTube chat was broken. I wasn't seeing it update for a while. It's Luna Philosophy Channel win? I don't know. When I start to figure out how to explain my philosophical thoughts without it just being a rambly mess. Did you travel for the last eclipse? I did. I traveled more than I had to because my friends are one of the, you know, how I mentioned lucky. You have to be lucky to not be able to see one without traveling. Well, my friends live in Toronto. Well, near Toronto. Two close friends of mine that I'll be doing D&D with them later today. I talk with them at least twice a week, basically. And they live in Canada, in Toronto, like right, like they were a 30-minute drive basically from the eclipse. Not far away at all from seeing the total eclipse. They weren't quite living directly in the path of totality, but very, very close. And never went and visited where they lived before, so went and hung out with them, basically took a vacation. That was what I did earlier this year. I think I've talked about it before. And yeah, it was cool. And again, like the whole vacation was not just seeing the eclipse. It was just part of the thing of being there with my friends and hanging out with them. Don't see them in person very often. And yeah. Get those blue rocks and use the forge? What are you talking about? Even beyond the sight of an eclipse, you really feel it as well. Yes, that's why that's kind of what I was talking about with the partial eclipse, where like you don't get most of the value of it, but you can still, like with partial eclipses, you can, depending on how partial the partial eclipse is, you can sometimes still feel some of the effect of it, which is cool. But it still has to be almost near total, so you still have to be like, for partial eclipses to feel like they're relevant, you still have to like basically be close enough to totality that you should be able to figure out a way to get there that's not cost-wise. It is not that bad cost-wise. Oh, someone asked how to get weapon XP. I see. Wow, beautiful artifacts. Yeah, I agree. Photos do not do the event justice. I don't intend to take the next one I go to see. I don't intend to take photos of it because I don't know. I might just try to like set a camera up beforehand and just have it record and not worry about taking photos or video, like tweaking settings during the moment of, because like the eclipse that I saw this year, I specifically planned around and tried to make sure I could get good photos of it. And I got some decent photos. They weren't the best things ever, but I liked them. And they're my photos. But they like having to focus on my camera and like tweaking settings to get different kinds of photos out of my camera during the eclipse for something that was only happening for a very short duration kind of hurt part of the experience of actually just viewing the eclipse. Like, I'd much rather just stare at the eclipse for the 2 minutes it was happening, or actually 3 minutes and like 43 seconds where I was viewing it. So anyways, I'm glad I have some eclipse pictures. I can be like, yeah, this is photos of an eclipse that I went to. But I'm probably not going to try very hard to get photos of future eclipses that I go to see. Because I'd rather just pay more attention to the general environment and people around me and the eclipse itself. Sounds like being on your phone at a concert. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't regret it, to be clear, because again, I wanted, like, I'm a hobbyist photographer myself. I really wanted pictures of the eclipse that were mine. But it does, like, for such a temporary, short-lasting event, having to spend effort taking photos of it does hurt the experience. Anyways. You never saw one where we had polar lights in Germany once? One of my like highly unlikely dreams. I don't even know if this is a feasible possibility. I haven't investigated that much. One of my highly unlikely dreams is actually seeing a total solar eclipse when there's aurora at the same time. Don't end up getting blind. When a total solar eclipse is happening, you can look at it fine. You don't look at the sun during a partial eclipse, but when totality is happening, you can look at the total solar eclipse. You do not want to look at a total solar eclipse with eclipse glasses on. You will see nothing. But when the partial eclipse is happening, you use eclipse glasses because, yes, don't look at the sun. But when the moon is completely covering the sun, you can look at it, and you look without the glasses so you can see the sun's corona. That's what you're seeing. Anywho's. YouTube chat broke again. But yeah, I want to see aurora while the eclipse is happening. I think that'd be wild. I think it's highly unlikely, but that'd be a pretty cool thing to see, I think. Aurora at the same time as the eclipse. And realistically, you know, means I'm gonna have to chase eclipses that are specifically in, you know, most likely the northern hemisphere. Very, very northern. I mean, not just northern hemisphere in general, just very north. The next eclipse I can see will be in 2045. Yep. Anywho's, yeah. Thanks for the stream. This is a fun stream. Didn't do as much Keqing shenanigans as I expected, honestly, because I didn't even have that many ideas, I guess. I thought more ideas would come from this, but maybe my brain just wasn't in the mood. But we found one good Keqing team to mess around with. I probably won't be streaming tomorrow, but I should be streaming Tuesday. I think I'll do an account or character, whatever account reviews, similar to what I did last Sunday, but hopefully less chaotic in the chat. So I'll have like a Google form prepared so I can like randomly select some people. I'll still probably do donation reviews, but I think the structure will be like, I will review, I'll have to manually review the donations and like alternate is my hope. Like I'll do like a donation review for someone that like paid for it, and then I will review a randomly selected non-paid one is my guess. So anywho's, aurora, eclipse, and double rainbow. I mean, yeah, that'd be cool too. That seems even harder to see considering you need like the moisture in the air. I don't know, maybe I don't know, maybe it's not that unlikely, but it still seems unlikely considering you also don't usually want clouds to see eclipses, but it's possible. But anyways, Maybe set a minimum for dono reviews. The problem is like YouTube tells me doesn't convert the currencies for me. I'll have to check if there's a setting for it. But I don't know. I'll probably just like go on like let's just trust each other to be bros, and I'll be like, you know, I don't even know. Like I don't want to charge any more than $2 for the minimum for donation reviews. Just so I don't like get like 50-cent donations or whatever though for doing a review kind of thing. Maybe. But yeah, it doesn't tell me what the currency is worth, so I don't actually have the ability to filter that myself unless I set up some kind of bot. So yeah. And yeah, bits are a universal conversion thing, so I would know like I'd be able to set X amount of bits for a review, yeah. So yeah, that's one of the minor downsides of YouTube, I guess, in this instance. So like we're just gonna go, being that I'm a smaller streamer, I can just go on like code of, like just be like, hey, I'm just gonna trust if you're doing a donation requesting a review, please try to like give me at least like $1, so that we're not, I don't want to, and I'll just say like in the stream, I don't want to fill up the whole stream with donations that are 50 cents. Like I appreciate any donations, to be clear. I just don't want to get stuck with the whole stream being donations and not be able to get to anyone that isn't donating kind of thing. So, like it makes sense to put some kind of boundary. Like I don't feel like I need to charge a bunch of money for it, but I need to like, I do kind of need to draw a line somewhere in order for it to not just be only charging money, right? It's weird. So I don't know. It's one of those weird situations that only streamers have to deal with. Like you gotta charge money for something in order to be able to be fair. So are you looking more for fun builds or flex builds? I mean, my process is probably gonna be random selection, realistically. I enjoy picking out. I don't know. I'll probably structure the Google form to be like, you know, UID, what characters you want me to look at, or if you want me to look at all of them. But if you're randomly selected, whether or not I look at all of them, it's just going to be whether I feel like it. And then it'll have like an open-ended section of like any information you need to provide. Like my Keqing is on a pyro damage build because I'm using Keqing with C6 Bennett, right? And like, yeah, tell me that kind of thing. Or that, I mean, that's usually probably self-evident by a pyro goblet or something. But you get the point. Yeah, it'll be like those 3 fields. And that will also let me, if I go into it, I can go into that Google form when I'm selecting randomly. And if I see one that stands out to me for some reason, then I can be like, oh, hey, you know what? I want to look at this one. So if I see one that's interesting, I'll pick it out. But otherwise, it'll just be random. That's my thinking, because then it's fair. I don't have to have situations where people feel bad because they were like, oh bro, like I felt bad, and like the people that were like, I was here for like 2 hours and you never picked me. I'm just like, I'm sorry. You see how many messages there are? It's not possible for me to physically do everyone. So it's simpler just to do the vast majority of them randomly or donation wise. But anywho's, and my ideal, I think, would be to like for donations, for like I'll do a set amount of time for the stream, right? Where like for 3 hours, for example, I will at minimum alternate. So if I do a donation review one, then I will then review a randomly selected one that's not a donation. And then if I have donation still, I will then review a donation one, then not donation. So alternate. And then if I have donations left at the well, actually, I don't know. I don't want to make donations people wait. Now I think about it. But you know what? Maybe they'll have to wait. Maybe that's what I'll say. I'll have to be like, you know, yeah, that's probably what it's going to have to be. It's going to be if you paid money, you're going to have to wait. The VOD's on YouTube if you don't have time, right? If you donate to me and you don't have time to wait for me to actually get to yours, you're going to have to come back to the VOD and check it later. But basically at the end of the stream, so after the end of the 3 hours, it'll be like, okay, now I'm going to go finish up all the donation ones that I didn't finish, if I have any access ones. That's kind of the plan. So I think that's the most fair way I can do it. That balances it. And it also makes it actually worthwhile for me to like they're mentally draining kind of to do to an extent. But if I can balance them well, not make the chat chaos, and make a little bit of money for it, like I don't need to make an egregious amount of money from doing it, but like if I make a little bit of money from doing it, it does make it a lot more worthwhile to do those kinds of streams. Like, because if I can give beneficial information to people that want it, and hopefully have some entertaining streams, give it good information value, and justify the time spent doing it because I make money. Like, it's a win-win-win situation for everyone is the idea. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll have to tweak it moving forward. But yeah, anyways, that's it. I'm just rambling for the next 20 years as I do. Keeping an eye on chat through all the UIDs was draining. Yeah, exactly. That's why the goal is, like, if people are in chat, Sylveon, you'll just, like, I'll give you guys the link beforehand. So you or me or whatever mods can just be like, anyone in chat starts asking, how do I do whatever? And Google form link. And I might even be able to do like a pin message. Can I do a pin message? Actually, let's test this right now. What do I test this with? I'll test this with the account submission form thing, which I need to redo some stuff on the account submission form. Oh, look at that, by the way. I crossed the 3,000 submissions barrier for the account submissions. Yay! Oh, God. Okay, let's see if this works. I want to see if I can do a linked as a pin message. Right. And then... bam. Yep, you can. Sweet. So it'll be something like that. I'll probably have, like, text with it. So I'll have a pin message being, click here to submit UID for review selection. There we go. So that's kind of the plan, but I gotta make the Google form, obviously. Anyways, I don't think I'll die. I'm gonna go do D&D and chill for most of the day. It's a weekend after all. Apologies for not doing 2 edited videos. I've been trying to aim for doing 2 edited videos a week. But I'll make it up to you with Emilie Gamba content this week. Emilie edited videos on the weekend. Probably 2. Probably 1 on Fielding Emilie and probably 1 for Polearms Only. But I might postpone the Polearms Only one to the week after in favor of doing an account review, depending on how much time I have this week. But because I want to do an account review video this week, a on-field Emilie video, the Emilie testing stream this week. There's a lot of stuff. And the Emilie gambling video, getting Emilie, because, Gamba content. So that's 4 things. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do another video on top of that. So my priority is account fixing video, Emilie on-field video, Emilie Gamba content, and Emilie testing stream. And of course the account review stream before Tuesday as well. Anyways, bye. Thanks for watching. It was fun. I didn't mean to delete my message. I meant to just unpin it. Oops.